Rising through the flames, awaken the power held inside of me, harness resilience through the pain. I'm a warrior.
Self-bio, sleep on checkmate. Are you kidding? Michael to the rescue. The blade comes out and he shuts it all down in one fell swoop. Absolutely stomping. Oh, what is that? Haven't even got to the bridge. Backbone.
Warrior, I'm a hurricane like Gloria. I won't fail my times now. Rise of glory won't back down. I take the pain and I let it out. On the mountaintop, shout it out. Break away, let me demonstrate my mentality. Activate.
Gonna look to make it happen, and there it is. Proper. Cannot be stopped.
I'm a warrior.
This man is absolutely insane today. Going on, what do they feed him today?
On the mountaintop, shout it out. Break away, let me demonstrate my mentality. Activate.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another day of the Overwatch League. APAC is back. And oh boy, am I ready to dive in. It's been a good long while since we've seen all of your beautiful faces sitting behind those PC monitors. But I'm Achilleos, and that is Avril, just in case you may have forgotten. I know it's been a good long time since we've gotten to cast. But I'm ready to dive into the action and take a look at this wild new meta that we've got on our hands.
Oh, it certainly is. And look, our region in the East was already pretty wild even before Junker Queen came in the mix. I expected to only get more wild from here on out. We've had some crazy results in the West with the NA teams. Everybody's been beating everybody. The upsets have been in full swing. Clads have lost twice. I have no idea who's going to beat who here. I mean, maybe just be anyone's game.
Well, starting things off, we're going to have the Shanghai Dragons going up against the Guangzhou Charge. And if it's anything like North America, Charge could be in with a pretty good shot at taking down the Shanghai Dragons, who didn't have the strongest showing over the midseason madness. First, though, let's go ahead and recap a little bit, take a look at our standings and see where everything lies here in the APAC region. Dynasty still well out in front, but the Hangzhou Spark, who are going to be facing off against them in our second series this evening, are nipping at their heels.
This is a big opportunity for the teams at the bottom to try and catch up as well, because we are in the new stage, the new tournament, the Summer Showdown. Previous points from previous tournaments and tournaments, not previous qualifiers and the tournaments, don't apply. Everybody gets a fresh opportunity to make the next tournament. So for teams like Guangzhou, like the Valiant, like Chengdu, have kind of missed out the entire way through, this is the opportunity, especially for Guangzhou. Brand new lineup. We'll have to look at their lineup very soon. But Shanghai, like you sort of mentioned, they need a little bit of a bounce back as well. Given that, okay, they did make tournaments. They have got points in there. They are third in the standings. They got knocked out probably a lot sooner in the midseason madness than they wanted to.
They certainly did. Well, we'll see if they can have a stronger performance here as we take a look at the starting lineup. And we were talking about it before the show, while we were doing our rehearsal so many hours ago. And yeah, it's going to be Who Are You? Genji is back in the meta, which means that Who Are You is back in a starting five. And we've even got a photo for him this time around. Everything's just looking better here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. And
He's
it's
ready.
good to see his familiar face. Void, of course, going to be starting as well here for the side of the Dragons. We'll see if that stays true or if they're going to maybe experiment a little bit with Fate as we go through this, but we'll have to just wait and see.
And I think, Shanghai have been through multiple experiments with, okay, is it Void's time to play? Is he going to be the starting player? I think in Kickoff Clash he did play a decent amount. But then in Midseason Madness, Void was struggling, so they brought in Fate, and Fate started having a lot more success. Void ended up riding the bench here. Now, as we head into the new meta for Summer Showdown, obviously we talk about Genji being important for Who Are You, but there's no clear indication of who the better Junker Queen is yet, and Shanghai, they put their trust in Void.
That they have. We'll see if that pays off or if they're going to have to reassess. But on the other side of the arena is the Guangzhou Charge, a team that is looking to really level up after an incredibly lackluster performance so far this season. You guys saw the record, the 1-11. It doesn't look great, but as you were talking about, Avril, this is a time for a fresh start. Wipe the slate clean. Come back in here now with this new meta and look to take hold of the region. If they can do that, then there's certainly an opportunity for them to bounce back.
I mean, in 12 regular season games so far, obviously no tournament entries for the Guangzhou Charge. They've only won one match out of a total 12. They're 1-11 record. That one game was versus Valiant in the first week. And since then, in this mid-season madness, after ending those qualifiers, they made some heavy roster swaps. They brought in 3 new players, with 3 very familiar players if you watched any Overwatch League in the Eastern region last year. Jimmy and Xerneas. Xerneas is Yveltal, just changed his name, so Jimmy and Yveltal joining in. After playing for the academy team of Guangzhou Charge called Ultra Prime Academy, which, by the way, I think is one of the cooler names out there. But Ultra Prime also had a Pritter on the team who was the superstar rookie on the Chengdu Hunters that got cut before the start of the season that everyone, had basically said was going to be the top rookie prospect for the Chengdu Hunters that ended up not being part of that team because Chengdu downsized. Now he's been picked up by the Guangzhou Charge set, and he will hopefully be able to make his league debut. But it is going to be Jimmy starting over a Predator for now in a Sojin-based meta.
We'll see how they fare. The Guangzhou Charge, again, the numbers stacked against them, but as we have seen over in North America, anything can happen. They can go ahead and take down the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who will then make a tweet saying, this is insult or blah, 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 whatever, whatever the copy pasta is at this point. But, yeah, I mean, both teams have a lot to prove, given that this is going to be the first showing for the APAC region running this meta, at least in the Overwatch League, because you, of course, have had a good amount of experience casting this down contenders and whatnot. So this will be my first exposure, and I can't wait to get involved.
Oh, well, we'll see how you feel about it at the end of the night. Here, you're kind of like, oh, I'm curious. Like, we'll see how it goes. By the end of the night, like, save me, please, release me from this prison. As I'm sitting there with the noose around my neck, like, first time, huh? Like,
yeah,
only been here for a month.
We'll see.
It will be interesting.
Could very well.
I think the good thing about the meta is, if you haven't paid attention to the West, we're playing Junker Queen. We're playing a lot of Junker Queen. I don't expect to see any other tank unless a team is trying to go for a desperation. Oh, it's 99% and we have to touch a Wrecking Ball kind of situation, or maybe a Doom in that same position. It's going to be all Junker Queen. It's going to be double main support as well. And I think this is only our second time ever with a double main support meta. The first was Season 1, Mercy Lucio. Since then, if my memory serves correct, we haven't actually had a double main support meta just yet. We've had a very diverse round of different metas for our support players, right? Because we've had the typical one main support, one flex support. We just had double flex support. Now we got double main support. And the interesting thing about this double main support combo is Yveltal, aka Xerneas, and Faraway have had plenty of time playing with each other on last year's very successful Chengdu Hunters. So in a very future matchup between Charge and Chengdu, that's going to be really exciting because there's a bunch of ex-Chengdu members on the squad. So I'm hoping for a lot of synergy between Xerneas and Faraway for that reason.
We'll see what happens. Far away right now, living up to the name. Not going to be playing over at his PC for the moment. So just wait for him to sit down, get everybody into the lobby, and then from there we should be able to get things underway. It's like I believe everybody on the side of the Shanghai Dragons, despite not having the cams on right now, should be ready to go in the lobby. So we're just waiting for everybody to get settled. It's the first day back. You got to get used to the schedule. Maybe wake up a little bit earlier than these players are used to, because even though it is in the evening, these are gamer hours we're talking about. So, could have had just Faraway and Jimmy just roll out of bed.
God, Seth, how on earth did anybody wake up for the mid-season madness schedules? I do wonder.
They didn't. They just stayed awake the whole night, and they just didn't sleep ahead of time.
Well, in the case of Charge, they didn't play the mid-season madness. They didn't have to change the sleeping schedule at all. But maybe the fates will change for this stage now with 3 new members coming on in, 2 of which will be joining the starting lineup for now. And, I think, could this be the time that, we've talked about players like Choice One and Krong being probably 2 of the better members on the Guangzhou Charge, and is it time that they have the right support structure with the level and quality of teammates around them? I know for some people, Jimmy might be still a little bit of a meme, because you remember Jimmy from last year playing for Chengdu, and he was a bit of a memey player. Custer had a lot of fun time watching this guy as well. But from looking at his time in Ultra Prime Academy in Contenders Korea, by the way, which is where they played, Jimmy was honestly one of the better Sojins that we'd seen. And there's a reason why he is starting over a Pritter. And a Pritter is generally regarded as the better player than Jimmy. But specifically for Sojin, Jimmy has been, in the games that I casted with both of them in, Jimmy was the better Sojin player. So I don't know if we're really going to see too much of a Pritter just yet for this stage, because he is still a rookie that hasn't debuted yet. And we won't be seeing him debut, at least not for map 1. Maybe there's another map he comes in for, but certainly not at this exact time. Really excited to see how Jimmy and Choice One work together.
As am I. Well, the players are getting ready up in the lobby, so I think we should be jumping into our map set here in just a moment. Take a peek at where these teams are going to be clashing, as of course the pool has changed moving forward into this next block of the tournament. So we'll see where they end up clashing and if we get some new maps, because it's been a damn long while. And yeah, out the rip, we'll be seeing Nepal, then go into Hollywood. I'm like, oh my god, I'm just now realizing how long it's been since I've gotten to commentate these.
I think Hollywood might still be one of my favorite maps ever. It is just such a sweet map design.
It's just,
especially
it's like right up there with King's Row. It's so nice.
I think so.
And like even.
Here's the only downside of, well, there's no real downside, but to set expectations properly as we head into map number 1 here on the poll. Last stage, Mid-Season Madness, I mean, we talked a whole bunch about map choices, team map drafting strategy, where teams might like to go. Here, not only because it's a new stage, but this particular meta, you're not expecting anything to really change between the maps because we're going to be playing pretty much 99% the same composition everywhere. So, and in kind of a way, it's a level playing ground for everybody. So we'll see how they manage that situation. As you can see on your screens, this is what we're playing. Jimmy and Lip will be changing to the Sojin, and out we go. Here we go. Nepal Sanctuary.
Swaps coming through. Is the Sojin just going to be a little bit further behind? Look at the join in. Quick to the point here. Are the Guangzhou Charge already going to be set firmly? Is Krong taking a little bit of chip damage? Who are you trying to get up close and personal? But quite a bit of damage down onto Choice A1. The deflect now going to be popped. Choice A1 matching. They go ahead, go their separate ways. Just poking and prodding so far here on both sides. And as I know, this is going to be a lot of the gameplay for now. Big chunk of damage down to Choice A1 though.
Shouts have been used at this stage. Who are you low as well? He actually gets the fadeaway kill. Who are you? Despite being on 1 HP, he gets a frag.
Yeah, amazingly manages to come up with that, stays alive. Knife does go out from Krong, just fine Lip, taking him down, but widely the fight being won here, the point locked in from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Void now pushing in from behind, catches Krong unawares, looks for a little bit more. Jimmy with a nice little rail headshot there to Lee Jae-gon will slow up the Lucio, but obviously he'll rejoin in rather quickly, and the Shanghai Dragons will be able to hold the point after the first fight victory.
It's so important for the Genji player to be pop-off here as well. It's what I think is the most important member on the team. I know Junker Queen is kind of the center stage character we all look at, but the Genji players make the plays, they get the frags. They are the ones that pop-off, have those huge moments with the dash reset. So, who are you? Very close to Blade already. Next fight starting.
There it is. Back to the poke and prodding, looking to build up. Who are you with a very nice lead towards that Dragon Blade. Now just 7% left to go. Choice A1 so very far away. He's not finding nearly as many eliminations or just damage straight up. And yeah, we'll have to see when he does want to pull this. For now, he's split off away from the rest of the squad. 1% left to go. Finally, we'll go ahead and get the hit. And they've isolated Jimmy for the moment. Takes a slide, jumps back in onto the high ground. Now that's going to be the sound barrier coming in from Xerneas to go ahead and try to keep everybody alive.
Oh, clutch beat.
On the opposite side as the rallies come through from both sides as well. The blade's going to be pulled. Lip, rail shot there on the far away. Shuts down the rally from the side of the Guangzhou Charge. The cleanup comes through. Who are you picking up to with his ult? Choice A1 will be the last one to fall. A little bit of stagger as the team kill comes in, and it's about to be 70% locked in for the side of the Dragons.
Yeah, and only now the Junker Queen's about to approach their first rampages so far. Choice A1 obviously on the blade. There's no more support ultimate, so these rampages are going to hurt. This is real damage coming on through now as the blade from Choice A1. Really clutch beat coming through for Lee Jae-gon that saved Izyaki's life, otherwise he would have dropped his rally. So big plays there. The Sojin ultimate's also coming along for Jimmy and Lip.
Okay. He's going to go ahead and pop the overclock.
Oh,
Tons of damage on a Krong, and they interrupt the ult. Not going to be able to use it. Not going to find any of that heal tonight coming through. They just completely shut him out. Now Choice A1 in desperation pulls the blade, but there is nothing to be found. But Death is Who Are You? Cleans up 3 in the back end of the fight. A clean sweep. 100% to 0. Shanghai Dragons taking the first round.
Wow, I mean, technically speaking, I'll just backtrack on a comment I made. It wasn't a cancellation on Krong's rampage. He technically did hit Void, but because he died so early, he never got to extend the rampage past Void onto any other member of the Shanghai Dragons. So effectively, because it didn't really do anything to Void, he was still kept alive. He's a very tanky player. Yeah, the ultimate didn't get the value at all, and it comes through from a humongous headshot we saw from Lip's POV. Noting that the overclocks are available for both players, Lip pops it, gets an instant full charge headshot onto Krong, chunks him down, and then when the rampages are expended and exchanged, Krong is dead early. When your Junker Queen's gone like that, yeah, the fight's over.
Here's just the cleanup of Who Are You on the back end, just stopping Jimmy from being able to use his ult, immediately identifies where Choice A1 is at.
Yeah.
And just
Kills
cuts him
Choice
down
A1's
to size.
blade.
Cleanly done.
It's 2 ultimates that are expended and gone. So here we go, starting the new fight now. Already in the neutral on the side. Void low.
Yep, commanding shot already burns here. Krong's trying to keep everybody alive, and an immense amount of damage and pressure being applied, however, and he just cannot stay in the fight. Void comes up with the kill, the cleanup chase comes in as well. They're looking for some extra staggers while the point does get capped in the back. You can see just how deep, how confident they are playing this out, and Jimmy will end up falling. Lijigon again going to be a casualty, but can rejoin in very swiftly.
Who are you's been sick so far. I mean, over the course of a round a little bit, he's already 10 out of 18 final blows for the Shanghai Dragons, so he's more than deadlifting currently. Expecting that to go on further forward. He is outpacing Choice F1. 2 opening neutrals in a row now towards the first blade by a lot, a fair margin. Look at that.
Who are you again? Just basically playing solo. Has a little bit of reinforcement there, but Choice F1 will manage to take him down to the very end. Nice little headshot coming through to get the punish. Now Void eliminated. It seems like Guangzhou Charge might get their first taste of cap on the point, as they will go ahead and find some extra kills in the back end. The support's falling down. Everybody else just heading for the hills, trying to stay alive. And the cap will be there, so finally gaining some percentage. 36 only picked up for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, so certainly is winnable for the side of the Charge to tie this up.
Well, this is the first team fight the Charge have actually won so far on this particular map over the course of a round and a bit now. So important they've done that. Also, killing Who Are You will slow him down slightly, or at the minimum, allow Choice F1 to catch up. Allow the supports to catch up as well, because you do need to counter this blade in some way. And both Xerneas are far away. Excuse the pun, but they're too far away from ults.
There's the pull. A good amount of healing coming through, just trying to keep everybody alive, but they end up falling in the end. Jimmy will answer back, but they lose 2. Trade up still going to be there for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They're looking to occupy the point. Dragon Blade not going to get a connection that they're looking for here as the rally comes rolling through from both sides. Lijigon still going to be holding onto the sound barrier. Xerneas now just trying to build up for one of his own, and Jimmy just pressured out. As soon as the overclock gets popped, he gets taken out. Choice A1 pulls the blade, dashing through, finds Izayaki. Now he's just slicing at air. The point already capped, the lead very much established here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. As Lijigon putting himself in a bit of a rough position, will end up falling in the end. However, can they get their way over to the point? Can they find more punish? So it looks like the answer is going to be yes, as Krong does find one. Lip now, popping the nano clock, or the overclock. Doesn't have the nano, obviously, to go with it. Just looking for an extra shot.
Nice shot.
Choice A1 lines them up. Choice A1 just kind of diving right in front of that one, and the point will be held by Dragons.
A very clutch overclock coming on through, and this is kind of what we're seeing through these teams as well, where both teams are not willing to give up these fights. Guangzhou Charge holding the initial cap up to 34, expended ultimates. Rally, I believe, a 3-man rally. Izayaki responds with his own rally for a 4-man. And the teams just have a very long extended fight that eventually goes the way of Shanghai Dragons. And now forcing a final fight situation. Rampage versus nearly a Rampage, but the beat is available for Xerneas. He will need to hold that for the Rampage.
Yeah. Has it at the ready, unless they can get a massive shutdown onto Void like we saw happen at Krong at the very end of that first round. Might be able to find some good value. So yeah, Xerneas does need to be ready. The touch is there. Jimmy finding one. Lip going to be taken out now. Beat going to be dropped in by Xerneas. Just going ahead, shielding everybody up. Who are you, however, still managing to find Choice A1. Jimmy trying to line up that shot, manages to get it. Izayaki out of the fray, and now it seems like the Guangzhou Charge should be able to yet once more fight back. The flip will be there. They're starting at 35%, so they need to hold this for a damn long while, but they might just be able to get some additional staggers as they look to try to take down Void, who is currently still segregated from the rest of the squad off on the flank here.
It's too hard to go after them because they lost Krong, so they need their own main tank, or they don't really want to go and aggress into Void on their own, especially when the healing is so good. The support's still alive to keep Void up. So it's just going to be a bit of a reset here. Shanghai Dragons don't lose extra. Jimmy with a huge heroic, so double kill there to really set the stage. Krong now has Soul Ultimate available for both teams.
He does, but a couple people not too far behind, far away now. Has the rally online, pops that one, Krong going low. Gets the ante out onto 2 from the Rampage. Kill's not there to follow, however, but the point's still being held. Shanghai Dragons forced back to retreat. Choice A1 plays forward on the corner now, has to back away, but Xerneas, he's overstepped. Lip lines him up, gets him in his sights. A great rail headshot to go ahead and take down the enemy Lucios. They look to take the point. Choice A1 goes off the side of the map somehow. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a missed dash. Either way, that could be catastrophic, and that could absolutely cost them, and it seems like it's going to. The flip comes in. Choice A1 respawning right as his Dragon Blade becomes available, but will he get to use it? Blade is pulled from Who Are You. They take down Xerneas. That was their time buy. That was their delay. And the OT will go ahead and drain down. The second round taken by the Shanghai Dragons, which means they pick up the first map of Nepal.
It could have been a unregistered boop kill as well. Sometimes, you know, I think on
could happen.
These kind of beta 2 patches, sometimes you do have boop kills, but it doesn't credit the kill to the person doing it. So it could have come from anybody between Izayaki and Lee Jae-gon. Who knows at the end of the day? I have to assume Choi doesn't make mistakes like just dashing off the map, but it is pretty tragic that that kill came on through. However, you know, some of the other kills that came on through as well, Xerneas being shut down as he's trying to wall ride and make a play. I can't really fault him for that, because as a Lucio player, especially on a map like Sanctum, you want to be displacing, you want to go for boops, you want to make plays happen. Lip gets the kill, but the best thing that Shanghai Dragons did was they disengaged from Krong's rampage. They didn't really lose anybody at all. Krong was caught between the rock and a hard place. Does he go for it? Does he not go for it? If he doesn't go for it, the Shanghai Dragons have counter ultimates available, so they felt pressure to do it, and well, if they can't get a successful rampage, they don't win the fight, they don't win the map.
Well, some signs of life, a pulse felt there from the side of the Guangzhou Charge in the second round, but unfortunately not able to extend it into a third on Village. But that is the Shanghai Dragons drawing first blood, getting that map lead. Now we'll turn our sights over to Hollywood as we get ready to go into Hybrid. We'll see whether or not the Guangzhou Charge can continue to look alive and find some footing, tie things up, or if the Shanghai Dragons will be able to take it to series point. That's going to come up in just a few minutes, but first we'll have a quick little break, so don't you go anywhere. And we are back. The Shanghai Dragons able to take Nepal, which was great to see Nepal. Unfortunately, we didn't get the World Tour. We didn't get to go all the way to 3 rounds. Guangzhou Charge fighting back just a little bit there on Sanctum, but unfortunately cannot get the win. Now we turn our sights over to Hollywood, a map once more that I haven't gotten to cast in quite some time, so I'm looking forward to this one. A breath of fresh air as we move into Hybrid to see whether or not the Charge can, in fact, tie this up.
And I'm very curious as to how teams will navigate the B point specifically around all the different high grounds. The elevator control will be obviously quite important. This is the type of meta as well where, you know, if you are a ground-based team like a Junker Queen composition is, and you want to be taking the high ground, somebody still has to push the payload. So realistically, we're talking about kind of like a 4-man take of the high ground with maybe a solo pushing Genji that needs to dash up and help. So it'll be interesting how teams handle it, but don't expect any changes to the composition between the teams. It really is just Junker Queen all the way.
Let's see how they decide to pilot this one as we jump into the action. Standard California, well, I can't say that word, person. Showing their, flexing their wealth on all of us.
I don't know if anyone would ever, I say no one would ever have a plate like that, but
oh, it
somebody
exists.
would. Somebody
does.
This
is based on reality for sure. Spend enough time in Los Angeles and you'll see some
life
stuff.
imitates art.
Yep. Art imitating life. Well, first on the defense here for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. And it would be wild. I would love for the Shanghai Dragons to just run what they have currently hovered, but just for an experiment. But we know what this is going to be.
It's not impossible to see a fire. The problem is, I mean, the fire gets very easily countered by an echo, which is the only time that you will see an echo, and then you have this rock, paper, scissors thing where then one team goes an echo and the other one responds by going back to the Genji. But you know, as expected, we're just going to play the same things here. Lev has had a pretty big game so far in the Sojourn, I've got to say. I mean, I still remember that massive headshot shutdown to Krong on our first round. Big rotation coming through the left. Well, actually, not in a complete rotation, trying to bait Guangzhou Charge, and maybe it worked.
All right. Nade coming down, just to stop them from advancing forward over towards the stairwell. Up onto the high ground here is Jimmy, quickly going to be dropping down as that Royale charged up. Clips who are you right in the wings, but it's not enough to find that elimination yet. Still hovering in low HP, Legion going to his rescue.
Charge have lost
up
space.
There into the cafe.
Look how far back they are.
Yeah. Hell of a lot of space being given up. The point now being occupied. The contest is there, however. Just need to get a pick to try to win out this fight. Stop the cap from coming through, but Zernius is going to be the first one to fall. Who are you getting on top of him? And Void able to find the shot. The Jagged Blade as well through to Jimmy. Cuts him down to size. 2 quick picks coming in now. A tick already established. The second one getting ready to roll through from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. A bit of a fight back though. But as I say that, Choice A1, he finds one, but they will lose their main tank. Deflection will expire. Who are you? Just waits it out, gets the melee shot. Zernius just now re-arriving to the fight. It's immediately going to be taken down once more, and the cap will come in. Not even 2 minutes to go ahead and snatch up point 8. It's now 5 minutes plus in the time bank as we move into the streets phase.
I mean, that was just masterclass from the Shanghai Dragons, choking the Guangzhou Charge out. You see the positional difference there. They begin with this kind of rotational bait to already misposition the Charge by forcing the Charge back from applying pressure towards the choke, and then further from that, just the exchange of damage means that Charge, they have nowhere to play through. Zernius gets caught out, and it's perfect staggering of deaths as well, so that Charge can never regroup as 5 for a retake. Now the Shanghai Dragons, like I said, with plenty of time available and ultimates available as well, who are you once again outpacing Choi by quite a fair margin.
Cart steadily moving forward for the time being as Charge occupy the high ground. At some point, going to have to drop down. Look to contest this, maybe around the final corner. There it is. Pulse getting ready to come online though. Who are you holding his own? It's going to be commanding shout, trying to get everybody up the rampage from Void. Going to take down Krong as they just duke it out right in melee range. And now Void has an opportunity to go ahead and overtake the lead. Quick dash to the side. Zernius dead. Cart again opened up, and it's making such fantastic pace here for the side of the Dragons.
You have to question how Krong dies mid-rally as well. He's being supported by 2 supports AoE healing, plus extra rally, you know, green HP as well. Plus, you have to imagine the shout, I couldn't remember where Krong applied it, but the shout would have been in there as well. That was the cheapest fight possible with Dragons. They only use a rally, they get a full 5-man wipe, and they get rid of the rally on the other side as well.
Now it's going to be the blade pulled out. Sound barrier from Zernius in response to try to keep everybody alive. Jimmy pops the overclock, but everybody just piles in on top of him. Just no way for them to peel, no way to try to keep him alive. They do get a nice ante out on 2 more members. The Izayaki getting take it down. Krong finding 1 with the Jagged Blade. However, trying to keep them in this, but the overclock is going to expire here rather soon. Still, however, managing to find another kill and a follow-up. Who Are You gets one of his own. Krong down to a sliver of HP, trying to hide out behind the backside of the limousine, but there's just nowhere for him to go. The cleanup will come in with 2 members left standing.
Man.
It looks like the cleanup is going to be there. Choice they want desperately swaps over to the Tracer just to try to get the tag and keep this contested, but the cart has already capped B, so now it's 4.5 minutes for the final stretch.
I mean, not bad contesting by Choi as well. It's very low risk. You'll see that when Choi respawns back, he'll be on the Genji with the advanced ult charge as well. So coming back on a Tracer, doing some damage. He only lost, what, 10% ult charge with the new DPS passive. That's pretty worth in terms of at least draining a bit of time down for the Shanghai Dragons. But ultimately, those Shanghai Dragons, they won 100% of the fight so far. Lip and Hua Yu both popping off insanely hard. Krong taking a lot of heat. I mean, getting solo killed by Void and just generally under so much pressure the whole game.
Solo ult now available here for the side of Void. As they get moved out, getting ready to exit this warehouse, they certainly could set up for a big ante, but it's actually just going to only find 2. Krong and Xerneas, however, still going to be prime targets, and Lip is able to take the alley-oop, the setup there, and taking down the main tank. Just chasing forward. Who Are You again, just playing with reckless abandon. Doesn't really need to be concerned too much for his own health. He knows that he is the one to be feared right now. Dashes up into the stairwell, finds Xerneas, Farway's taken down, and as everyone gets corralled up into the high ground, the cart glides through to the finish. 3.5 minutes evenly on the clock here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons.
And again, it's a flawless fight because what you see here is the isolation of the kill into Krong. It doesn't need to be the world's biggest rampage. You would love to see a big rampage from Void, but credit what credit is due. The silver lining for the Charge is they spaced well. When you know the other team has a rampage available, you cannot stack as 5. You need to be spacing properly. So you had from this position, you can see from the left and the right side, Charge playing both sides of the map and the main at the same time. The rampage comes on through, connects onto 2, believe Krong and Xerneas. They focus all damage onto Krong. When he goes down, the other 4 members don't have a lot to do there. It's hard for them to engage, it's hard for them to make anything happen, so they're just waiting for Krong to respawn. While that's happening, Dragon's still pushing them, corralling them upstairs like you said, but once they are upstairs, it is prime dash AoE territory for Who Are You, where he just goes through everybody, they rinse out the Guangzhou Charge, Krong finally respawns, but his team is dead, and the cap is there.
Yeah, and we just saw that replay there, those 2 crucial kills coming in from Lip, and honestly, I mean, maybe I was misreading it, the scenario that they were in, but it felt like if he doesn't get that last shot across on a Farway, there's a real opportunity for Charge to be able to hold that. And from there, who knows what the time bank looks like. But Lip, when he needs it, when his team needs him the most, he manages to deliver. Who Are You as well, just playing incredibly cleanly on the Genji right now, as we have come to expect. They managed to get that cap, and they finish it out in a pretty quick pace.
I gotta say, I think Who Are You's been the most consistently good player on the entire Shanghai Dragons roster so far, given that he didn't play at all in Mid-Season Madness. Yep. When he was on for Kickoff Clash, a lot of successful in KC for the Dragons, I attribute to how good Who Are You's Genji was, and we're back into another Genji meta. And straight away, first blood, found by Who Are You.
Yeah. And Xerneas taken down once more. Just Who Are You identifying prime targets as, yep, that's the guy we gotta go for. Jumps on top and finds the kill. Now looking for Farway as well.
So good.
Right click will just headshot him. Yeah, it's just incredibly clean from him. It takes all the way up to the spawn doors. Yep. And that is a message sent here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who are looking to close out this series very quickly.
I've got a guy called Lip on their team, but Who Are You is the one that completes the Kiss the Spawn Door challenge. As, you know, singing the praises of Who Are You, he really is such a powerhouse in any Genji meta. And, you know, when players like Choi, who are also in their own rights pretty good at Genji, struggling to keep up, this is maybe Charge's opportunity to push on in. As Dragon's back on out.
Okay,
Lip doesn't
good
get a
kill
shout.
picked up here. That opens it up a bit. Rail not going to connect. Choice A1 dashing in, and yeah, all of a sudden this is falling apart here. The follow-up defensive positioning here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons getting punished. Charges pile in on top of them, get the extended team kill, and now they will go ahead and find themselves a cap. The likelihood of being able to play this in any way, shape, or form is very unlikely.
Very potentially greedy by Shanghai Dragons in 2 separate ways. One, they held very closely on the Hollywood A kind of archway when they didn't need to do that. You can play the choke point. Why are you the one in the choke point? Force Charge to come through the choke. And then when they disengage, they actually used the shout late, which means they didn't save Lip. As I mentioned, Lip did not catch the bonus green HP from the shout, so he just dies. Dragons, had they just disengaged maybe a little bit early and actually applied the green HP shout, they would have saved Lip. But opening this fight, Lip gets the kill anyway, so looks like Dragons okay here.
Yeah, nade coming down. They immediately establish cart control right at the archway. It's going to be a really precarious spot to try to break through. His lip will find a follow-up shot. Zerny is taken down right as Choice A1 was going to be coming, or rather Jimmy was going to be coming right back into the fight. For clock now set up for him as he occupies the high ground. DPS ult's about to be up for both squads. It's just going to come down to who can perform the best.
They're backing out. They're going to commit to this one.
Oh my god. Oh, this is brutal. They just basically need to go for a reset, get everybody back up, and then push out of here all at once. And this is basically going to be a 10 ults once these
I was going to say, everybody's about to have an ultimate, but because Dragons get these opening picks on Lip's railgun, no one needs to ult. Charge don't want to ult 4v5 in that situation at spawn. Dragons know they don't need to do anything. If Charge ult, then Dragons respond. While you low though, that's a problem.
Okay, manage out there. Void helping to keep Who Are You alive as Jimmy again getting jumped on as he tries to pop the ultimate. Lip as well, just kind of hugging back, just threatening it. And this is still valuable for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Even if they don't get any eliminations off the back of those ults. Now the blade's going to be coming through. Later beat here for the side of the Lee J Gaunt. The shielding's going to last a little bit longer for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Riley's now rolling because they want the later blade. He's looking to punish the back end of these shields expiring, but he gets pushed away. Anti out onto 4 members. Huge rampage set up there from the side of Void, really just locking back the charge, keeping them at an arm's length. Now he's pushing forward, looking for more. Got that blade into Krong, pulls it back out, managing to find the elimination, and wow, all the ults being thrown at it. Krong not quite being able to get a rampage of his own, but otherwise, everything in the kitchen sink thrown at this fight, but it is the Shanghai Dragons who managed to persevere, only losing out on Lip.
But that's the thing, right, Achilles? We talk about the fact that maybe we will see 10 ultimates in that particular fight, but there was one ultimate missing. Krong was just a hair's breadth away from finding his own rampage. I believe he even dies at 98 to 99. Void has a rampage, gets the jagged knife connection on Krong, which means he pulls him back and gets the execution. Krong, no chance to ult, and that ended up being the one ultimate that was missing for the charge that could have made a difference.
Yeah, and he's going to try to use it here to break to the point. It is a massive rampage, catching on a 4, but they need some more follow-up kills. Who Are You? Dangerously low, the dash through from Choice A1. Does go ahead and cut him down to size, so it seems like finally some breathing room is available for the side of the Guangzhou Charge as they clean up the team kill. But there's still so much distance that they need to close out, and given the time bank situation right now, even with the bump up on B, they are not going to be able to best the Dragons.
I think that's maybe a little bit, again, a greedy situation from the Dragons. Twice now that'll say once on A and here as well, where they spaced poorly versus the Rampage. They should have known the Rampage was coming. We're very deep into the map now. Krong absolutely has it. There's no reason that they're stacking that hard. So when you have like a 4-man catch on the Rampage, yeah, it's not going to go well for Dragons.
Not at all. Decent high ground contest is here for the side of the Charge. The card at the meantime, though, not advancing forward. It's just going to be held in place. A little bit of a dynamite burn there on Who Are You? Holds him at bay for the moment, but yeah, the blade about to be available. Now has it. And he's going to pull it immediately. Dashing in. Sound barriers there from Cernius. Looking to get on top of far away. The double dive coming through. Lip is there to back him up. They will find that kill. It's at the cost of Izayaki, however. So it will just be a trade out on the Brigade as the cart still inching forward. So Who Are You? Looking for another target that he can slice and dice. Sound barrier out from Legion on. Using this one early. Choice A1 says, okay, I'll just hold on to the Dragon Blade, wait for the shields to go away.
It's because Dragons were low. Dragons were low HP, so Lee Jae-gon was pressured to use it now. Choi has a big opportunity.
Dragon's going to need to look to try to shut him down as quickly as they can. This overclock certainly could do the trick if he nails it. They identify Lip's position. They look to try to get him out of the fight. Lee Jae-gon as well. A target. He's Choice A1. He's a dog at a toy store. He just doesn't know which way to look. Everybody just kind of drawing attention. He's not really able to focus in on a single target to find a kill. Rail at the ready deflection being used. Lip managing to survive for just a second longer, but Krong eventually does manage to find that kill. Second blade not going to connect. Void just dipping in and out of the saloon here, keeping the cart locked into position. Who Are You taking down the DPS now? Out of the fight, Void retreats. Looks to get topped back up. Still such low HP on him, and eventually he will get taken down as Krong picks up 2. Seems like the cap on the B coming through here for the side of the Charge, but it's with only 1 minute and 40 seconds now to look to finish the map.
It's a Herculean effort. Maybe they can get the kill to Who Are You here as well, which is would be really good staggers, but it seems like the healing is there now. Yeah, the supports from Dragons have respawned, so well, you are going to live, and this time as well, respecting the damage output. Void's going to take no chances, just pop the shout straight away. No real push coming through. I was going to say the payload's only just been touched now by the Charge. There's a little bit of a stall on the payload as the doors open, but need to get that going as time is an issue, as you've mentioned. I don't know whether Bob went in the last fight either, but I don't know if it made a huge difference. Certainly, they still got a couple of kills and enabled the 5v3.
Yeah. quick pull there on the choice they want with the Jagged Blade, but he's behind the pillar, so they can't find the punish. Double rampages at the ready, and okay, a 6-man hit from Krong. But can they get the kills in the back end while they're down Jimmy? Seems like the answer is going to be yes, at least good for one. Choice they want, dives forward, finds the Lucio. Xerneas as well, getting his hands dirty. We'll take down Lip. A little bit of space opened up here for the side of the Charge. Get ready to go up the final ramp towards the golden box of victory.
That's a lot of players alive for Dragons, considering they all got hit by the Rampage. No Bob in their team, though, so just the 5 instead of the 6 Achilles. But in either case, we're waiting for Void now to pull the trigger on his own Rampage. He's been holding this one since B. Can and will be countered by Xerneas.
Did I say 6-man ante? Old habits die hard.
6-man ultimate. Back in Overwatch 1,
there you go. You know, it hit 5 and Krong is another person. That's 6. That's just math. Xerneas going low to get anteed out. Manages to survive. Drops the beat in for his squad. Now going to be matched as well by Lee Jake on the rallies, rolling on the back end. Void finds the first kill. And taking down the blade. Now going to be pulled out. And Jimmy is dead before he can get the bomb. And everybody's zoned away from the cart. Shanghai Dragons just completely flushing them out here. It was looking decent for the Charge to be able to take this into overtime rounds. The Dragons, they put their foot down and they say no. They put an end to it, and now they move up 2-0 in the series.
And you know it's rough for the Charge when, you know, only twice am I really nitpicking mistakes from the Dragons, and even then, it's not even them making any major mistakes. Okay, they do lose a couple fights out of just kind of like greedy situations or slight misreads on, like, you know, respecting Krong's Rampage, etc. But outside of that, it's full domination. Who Are You and Lip both outperforming their counterparts on the other side. Troy actually stepped up this map compared to what we saw in Nepal. Unfortunately, Krong can't really hold his own versus Void here. Void is extremely outpacing him. The supports are all doing as they normally would. It's good to see that Faraway and Xerneas are trying to get a little bit more active in the kill feed, but they're also being punished a little bit more as well. Xerneas is very much trying to make plays happen, and he has been caught out for that.
That he is. Well, Guangzhou Charge, again, looking a little bit better here. Some good punishes coming through when the Shanghai Dragons do take a bit of a poor positioning, or when they take up poor positioning, but just can't quite get to the end of the line, cannot take it into overtime. Now need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to be walking away victorious here in their first showing on the Junker Queen meta. We'll see if they can get it done, though, as we get ready to go into Circuit Royale, see if there's going to be any change-ups as well. Maybe APAC's got a little bit of a different read for that typically sniper-heavy map. We'll see what happens. I'm going to come back for the break, so don't go anywhere. And we are back, and maybe going into what could be the last map of this first series after our long little break of the midseason madness. If you haven't tuned in, and you're just tuning in, joining us now, it's a 2-0 lead for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who are looking very much at home in this meta. Who Are You, especially coming back out on his signature Genji, has just been cutting up the competition, the Guangzhou Charge, while finding a little bit of value there in Hollywood. Yeah. Unfortunately, just can't finish the map. So here we are.
Yeah, it's been tough so far for the Guangzhou Charge. To be fair, it is a new team as well. I mean, we have some fresh expectations in terms of maybe thinking that Charge will do better, but losing to Shanghai today, if this does indeed become a 3-0, even a 3-something else scoreline for Shanghai, who look incredible here. I mean, Charge would have to reverse sweep to even have a chance. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, because Dragons are a team that, despite not doing great in midseason madness as far as the tournament goes, this is a brand new meta for them where they get to play Who Are You again, and he has been, I think, the most important player on this team so far, which is not something I would have said going into this year. Certainly not something I would have said last year when Who Are You didn't see a lick of gameplay. And now, he is like the centerpiece for Dragon's success. I don't think they can win without Who Are You currently. So, with Who Are You steadily back in and carrying and leading the way at the tip of the spear for the Dragons, it's going to be rough for the Guangzhou Charge. I don't think that's a strange thing to consider.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Who Are You is very much now in this season earning his championship ring, where he just didn't get to see any play time. Now he's really kind of doing double the amount of work, and it's been wonderful to see for the side of the Dragons. I'd agree. I think he is the best looking Genji that we have here in the region. So he's been utterly incredible. Fleta, we've seen him pick up the Genji as well, and while it's still good, we know Fleta is an incredible player. He's got a really deep hero pool. It just has not been anywhere close to the level of just mastery that we have seen from Who Are You.
I think, right out there is one of, if not the best Genjis, and that was, I think, true in Kickoff Clash, true historically, pre-Owl, and now he's got to make that argument happen again, and plenty more games as we play full round robins here in APAC between each stage, so more opportunities for the Charge to show that their new roster can indeed work, and more opportunities for Shanghai Dragons to prove that they can be the top team in the region again, overtaking Spark, Seoul, Fusion, all those types of teams at first. We've got to get through Circuit Royale. You asked if we could maybe see some different stuff from coming on through Lippis, considering the Ashe, which is not an uncommon pick for this meta. Certainly not as common as the Sojin, but Ashe does see some value.
Yes, she does. Well, so does Who Are You. He continues to find it as we play a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie.
How many is that?
And, I don't know.
A lot.
I couldn't begin to... Yeah, it is a lot. Well, there will be a trade out here on the Briggs, but now Krong is going to be taken down, so things very much broken open on its attack to the side of the Dragons, as Who Are You once more is just fiercely pushing forward. Of course, they want kind of getting bogged down a little bit there by the light fixture or whatever the hell that is on the building, but either way, he dies, that's a stagger, and the cart pushes forward.
Doesn't take long for the Dragons to get out of spawn, and we talked about Ashe maybe seeing a bit of gameplay, but Lips straight away back on the Sojin. I think the best chance to see Ashe is a map like Dorado, or maybe even Gibraltar, but especially Dorado, where the high ground, low ground does make a difference. But Sojin just a safe pick here as we move back into territory of our second neutral, as the other clear thing about this sort of compositional meta is that we don't really have any ultimates by the second fight, sometimes not even by the third fight. So 2 neutrals in a row here.
Rail has been charged up. It's going to be Jimmy who actually manages to find some value first and foremost. Who Are You taken down now? It's going to be, the shout coming through from Krong, chasing forward, looking for some extra kills, and it's going to be a good halt to the cart. 1.5 minutes now taken out of the time bank here from the side of the Charge on the defense.
Of the, I think, so far 3 team fights that the Charge have managed to win across 2 and a bit maps now, they have been mostly off the back of, well, this time it'll be Jimmy taking down Lip, but I was going to say killing Who Are You early, which forces the entire Shanghai Dragons team back. So Jimmy is currently keeping the team well and truly head above water, as that'll be at least 2 skirmishes won, where I don't know if we could call those 2 team fights, but certainly 2 situations where an opening pick from Jimmy will force the Dragons back.
Yep. Not quite able to find some connections here on the follow-up shot, so it doesn't build up for another rail, try to get an extra punish.
Choi has more ult charge than Who Are You now, because Dragons have had to back up twice.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out too. First time that he's actually kind of been ahead of Who Are You here. Good feeling, but Who Are You obviously not that far behind. He never is. 6% left to go for a Blade of his own. Quite a bit of damage coming through. Choice hit one, jumping forward, Blade pulled. Void already going to be taken down. Front line broken open. Reflection going to be used. Who are you? As that expires, will get railed. Jimmy finding that kill. And once more, they chase forward over towards the spawn doors. And this is looking great from the side of the Charge. And as it's looking a little too good, the pause will have to be called.
Moon's calling timeout. Moon's like, this is not how it's supposed to go down, guys. We're calling timeout.
I don't know what's going on, but this isn't what's supposed to happen. I need a timeout stat.
Oh, man. Moon ain't happy. All right, we'll figure out what's going on here. Probably just a technical thing. But this has been the most positive start for Guangzhou Charge map so far. I mean, they've won 2 skirmishes and 1 team fight now, where Dragons haven't really been able to get on board. So the early blade from Choi does allow the Charge to get some mad value here. Dragons, interestingly enough, will not use the sound barrier to respond to that. So they're going to opt to save it. As we'll head back in, we'll see how that gets applied as Huayu does respawn. So we're going to get into the next fight with plenty of ultimates now starting to actually come online for both teams.
Okay, well, whatever the issue was, very quickly dispatched. So good to see. 3 ults held on either side as the Yaki gets ready to have that rally as well, though.
This ends now.
And there's going to be overclock popped on either side. Jimmy looking to match. Shout out from Krong. Now the rally going to be popped. Sound barrier dropped in by Xerneas. Shooting everybody up.
That's too much. They should have rallied
target.
first.
Hasn't really been able to get anybody to hit there. Xerneas does get clipped by one little rail in the back end, but now the blade gets pulled out. For you looking for a target, catches Krong, chases up, looks to get on top of Jimmy. With the help of Izayaki, they will. So it seems like with just basically everything invested, they will be able to break through and get the cap here onto point A with just 25 seconds remaining. So not too much time bank to work with here for the Dragons as they look to just go ahead and get these split spawn staggers.
Yeah, these are going to be huge kills as well because half of the Charge team have spawns that are all the way back on the C point. So these guys that have just respawned are going to be dead. I mean, Krong, surely there it is. Even DJ constantly even supplying damage. He's trusting Huayu was going to get it done. But I got to talk about the ultimates for the Charge there a little bit. I mean, what was going on? Why did they respond to an overclock with the sound barrier? Izayaki popped the rally to respond to Jimmy's overclock. But then for the Charge side, they did it the wrong way around. They should have done rally first, saved the beat for the blade, and because the beat was out of the way and far away pops the rally afterwards, Huayu doesn't care. He just blades through the whole thing and wins.
He does. Just carrying them to victory. Again, pressure here at the stop. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, it's going to be a 5-man, not a 6. I can count now. Leave the past in the past, but yeah, what an absolutely explosive little fight there from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, all set up by Void to capitalize swiftly and perfectly off the back of those antes, and yeah, as you say, the cap will be there.
I mean, this B, I've used the word flawless a number of times now, but maybe there will be a contest. 1 meter rather left remaining.
They need to stay on this, and right now it's only Xerneas who's playing forward. He will get punished for it, so that should just lead to the cap now that they lose out on one of their supports. Yeah, just pushing forward. Now 3 minutes remaining here.
2 wipes back to back. Yep, 5-man. I respect that Charge went for the final contest there because you don't feel good about leaving the payload alone. And oh, okay, goodbye, Xerneas.
Okay.
Lip sends his regards. Yeah, but the problem there was Krong gets chunked out straight away. So when Krong has low HP and he has to back out, the next person that touches is probably a support player or maybe Choi. But Choi doesn't want to risk his life because he wants the blade. So obviously the support player is going to die to cover for. You don't have an off tank yet to cover your main tank when he has to back out. So that situation was hard to play for the Charge, and well, they've lost 10 members in a row now, 2 fights in a row. Over the course of 2 fights, rather.
Yeah. Choice one trying to go ahead and contest that high ground. Faster build on the overclock. Lip has it ready to go. The blade does come out in response. Shout from Krong. Not going to be fighting too many people, and the beat is there from Lee Jae-gon, just shielding up everybody. And they completely play around the blade, get the punish at the back end. As there's the final shot, Jimmy taken down. Team kill once more. That's just wipe after wipe after wipe here at the hands of the Shanghai Dragons.
Who haven't lost anybody. That's 15-0 in the last 3 fights. 15 kills to 0. And now the cap is coming on through. There's about no ultimates available. Xerneas wants to beat here, but he's got no HP. Needs to survive.
3.5 meters left to go. Now the rally rolling, just trying to keep everybody alive. And Krong is going to be taken down. Oh, just slashing him with the axe. Gets the kill. Sound barrier available. Drops it. Does manage to catch the 3 remaining players. Just trying to keep them alive. Overclock, however, from Jimmy is just not finding the value that it desperately needs. As everybody else gets picked off, he has to drop down to try to contest, but does not last very long in that position. 1 minute and 23 seconds as the Dragons go ahead and finish the push.
And I gotta go back to, we'll rewind here a little bit because it starts well for the Charge. Remember, they win something like 3 fight with an asterisk in a row. Again, when you just sort of get 1 kill and force Dragons back, that's not a full fight, but they win 3 engagements, we'll say, in a row. But then the 4th one comes on through, and I specifically do believe they flubbed their ultimate order. They should have rallied first and sound barriered secondly, and they did it the opposite way around, which costed them. But beyond that, the snowballing from the Shanghai Dragons really was flawless, the word I really wanted to use, until Charge came in to defend at the 1.1 mark. But even then, that was a 5-0 wipe, so was that even bad for Dragons? No, they win big from that, but they get to catch out the bad spawns from the Charge as the cap goes on over. Half the Charge members are split spawned, so you get more staggers that way. You're free payload pushing the entire way through as well. You're just maximizing on time and distance while staggering the Charge as hard as humanly possible. So B came on through in lightning record time, and from that B, the final B contestant fight afterwards, Seth, it was, I think, 3 fights in a row where Dragons got a 5-0 wipe, cleaned up all members of Charge without losing anybody on their own team.
It was just so very clean. I mean, it was great for the Charge, basically, until it wasn't, and it just feels like a switch got flipped. They went from dominating on the defense to just getting completely shut out in that final stretch of the map.
It's what it feels like to play versus Dragons.
Yeah. Just suddenly the hive mind activates. Once more. Looking for that forward contest. Jimmy looking to surprise him a bit with his Widowmaker. Okay.
That worked.
We'll be far away. Taking that Lee Jae-gon, yeah, sets up for that extra little bit of damage early. They get the punish now. Void going to be taken down in this forward position. Very swiftly broken through by the side of the Charge.
Who are you still getting 2 under duress is incredible.
He gets both supports.
He's got no HP, he's got no healing, no other teammates to work with, and he still managed to tax 2 members away from the Charge. That's actually incredible. In a situation where realistically that should have been a 5-0 wipe for the Charge, which would have been, I think, their first so far of the day. I don't think would have had 2 by now. In any case, it was a really good opening. Jimmy going towards the Widowmaker, one of his signature picks, by the way, finds the shot onto Lee Jae-gon, which enables the Guangzhou Charge to capitalize and get the kill.
This reminds me of, what was it, I believe Jinmu on Dorado, right? Getting the 20 HP double kill or whatever on the Genji. Just incredible display when you have no HP, sliver remaining.
Yeah, that was a 1v2, this was like a 1v5.
Yeah, fair point, fair point. Well, who are you? As he tries to climb back up to safety on the high ground, Jimmy greets him with a nice little headshot. So early kill found, but Cernia's going to be taken down. I think he might actually been whip shot off the side of the map there by Izayaki. Either way, the space is bought as they try to retreat. Kong stuck in a corner, dangerously low. Jae-gon does pursue a little bit too far forward, can shield fashion to death, but they do send the Charge packing back over towards the spawn doors.
I think that's a fine trade. I mean, people say like, oh, Lee Jae-gon fed there. No, he guaranteed the kill into Krong, because what he does is he moves ahead of Krong, boops him backwards, and body blocks all to prevent Krong from escaping. So if you trade your life as a Lucio for the tank playing on the other side, you're Lucio. You respawn and rejoin the team fast anyway. It's very important to kill Krong there, so that was a good play.
Well, if nothing else, we know that Lee Jae-gon is never afraid to give his life for the cause. Often just gets right in there, even if it is ill-advised. Blade pull, rally, back him up as well for choice A1, goes forward. Instantly finds 2, and as you say, Izayaki getting his own canceled. Good shutdown coming through here from Choice A1. It's the kind of kills and spacing that they need to go ahead and break forward here onto point A.
Can they touch? I think it's too far away.
I don't think they're going to.
They'll give it up,
just going to go ahead and give this one up.
Yep. Probably smart, I think. If you are Dragons, you need Krong, and if Krong's too far away, there's no shot of actually getting a good commit. And even if you do, I mean, we saw from Charge trying to retake on B, it can just be too difficult. So I respect them for not taking that risk and just playing it safely.
Okay, Sound Barrier in response, right as the blade gets pulled from Who Are You. He's still looking for a target. Sound Barrier comes in late as well from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. I say late, but I mean right on time. It's just like a wizard. Never too early, never too late. They managed to find follow-up kills. Very quickly being dealt with as Krong and Xerneas will be the last ones to be taken out. We'll go ahead and once more establish control of this card.
That was Spawn Camp as well. Fun fact, I did actually watch Fellowship of the Ring recently, and even after about 10 years, it's crazy how many quotes I still remember. We'll see how Charge got out of this spawn situation. It really is.
Okay, well, it's going to be the commanding shout to try to move forward. The Rampage greets them as they exit the door, though, clipping onto 3. There's A1, though. Finds Izayaki. Lee Jae-gon as well. Pressured out, down below half HP, needs to retreat. looking for that jagged blade hit. Not going to get the pull that they're looking for. And Xerneas this time gets the better of Who Are You. A little bit of revenge found here for the side of the Lucio, who widely has been getting punished by the opposing Genji. Digigon continuing to somehow stay alive for the longest time.
Shimmy.
It's the overclock. Okay. Loses it.
And he's not swapping. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna swap. No, he's still on the Surge
Yeah.
and he just uses it. He just went for it. Forget about the fact that he died using it, which is unfortunate. It's just the pure fact that it was just an unnecessary ult.
Yeah.
Have to see what we can
Fight
do
was
now,
going their
because
way
Krong
already.
still has something. This will need to be a big rampage from Krong.
Both have been deliver on it. Yeah, he's going to go
It's
ahead
not
and
bad,
dash
that's pretty
through,
good.
catches onto 4. And it's pretty damn good. Gets on top of Hiziaki as well. Lippet just going to be bled to death there. Xerneas the only one who does manage to fall here in the fight. Otherwise, it's damn clean for the side of the Guangzhou Charge.
Who are you still just taxing players like, yeah, I'm dead. It's like 1v5. You know, I'll kill somebody and go down. I'll trade my life 1 for 1. So
He's that player that
why
always
not?
will say, like, I got mine.
And he certainly did there. The problem is he will come back late. No, he's actually still here. He didn't come back late for the fight. I lie completely. It's a full 5v5.
That it is. Shouts being used. The rally's rolling on either side. Blade pulled by both of the Genjis. Just duking it out. Who Are You finds Krong, but choice they want finds Who Are You. Reflect. Just answering back a bit of that damage. And then at arm's length, but Lip with the overclock of his own finally gets that last headshot through onto Jimmy. Taking him down. Now Choice they want the lone DPS alive and in the fight. And he is pulled well and away back from this card. Made down just to try to prevent the dive coming through here from the Genji. And he staggers it right now. The Dragons can find. It's going to be absolutely massive for them to continue to drain down this time bank because it's just about to be a minute remaining.
Dragons don't want to overstep though. They've been punished a few times now for attempting spawn camps. Some of them can be effective, but both spawn camp attempts so far on this defense on both A and B have not been great for the Dragons, so they're just going to back on out of that situation. They managed to get a pretty brilliant retake after losing to a 4-man rampage, but now that the ultimates are reset, it is Dragons coming up big, but Who Are You is down.
Yeah, just beautifully dragged there by Choice Wan, just layering in those right clicks, managing to find that melee shot.
They need Void.
And finish him off. Beat keeps the rest of the 4 members in the fight here for the side of the Dragons. Now the Rampage is going to be available. Void pops that one, charges his way through 4 members, but Hiziaki is going to be the first one to fall. The follow-up not quite there. Void does manage to take down Krong, breaking down the front lines of the Guangzhou Charge. Just 20 seconds remaining. Now touching on the card. Widely is going to fall into the hands of Xerneas and Choice Wan. Wait this one out. Draining down the time bank, trying to wait for Krong to rejoin as swiftly as he can. The overclock popped here from Jimmy, looking to try to find an opening kill to make it just a little bit easier for them to make their way here over to the cart and get this pushed through. The touch is there. Overtime going to be forced out. Now it starts bleeding away. Neil, unfortunately, unable to find anything, and Lip nearly has one of his own.
Oh, Who Are You's going in.
You. Yeah, he's looking for it. The shout's coming from both the Junker Queens, but Krong is going to be pressured out. Void gets on top of him. They find the elimination now far away. Going to be taken out. And the HP bars are just so damn low, and Lip is looking to finish the job. He pops it. He takes him down. And the hold is here in front of B. Shanghai Dragons, they manage to find victory on Circuit Royale, and they take this series 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, that last fight is just so indicative of the kind of neutral difference between the two teams. Given that Jimmy also did actually pop an overclock there, and Shanghai Dragons did not falter. I mean, they did not allow themselves to get freely shot out by Jimmy. They LOS'd appropriately where they could. And players that Jimmy would rather not have to waste shots on were still contesting payload, like Void and Easy Arc with the shield, and players like Who Are You that can deflect. So Charge couldn't really use that overclock to push on forward and gain any space. And after the overclock is gone, Dragons go back to doing what they do normally best, which is kind of out-damaging, outplaying the neutral situations, and putting players like Krong in a situation where he's low HP. The damage exchange is just so favored for the Dragons. Who Are You even spotting situation where you can go and they bait out the shout, and once the shout's gone from Krong, the rest of Guangzhou Charge fall.
Yeah. Very nicely piloted here by the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who still look incredibly strong coming into this new meta. It seems like this is very well practiced for them. And of course, Who Are You is right at home on that Genji. And given the performance that we saw from him today, I think it makes sense. I think it's pretty straightforward that he is going to be our player of the match.
He was a top fragging member on every single map. Not a single player was able to really do, more in terms of output of raw final blows than Who Are You across all 3 maps that we saw today. I mean, he just came up the gates firing hot as hell. on that Nepal, and
Yeah.
it did not end for the entirety of the entire series. So it's Who Are You Day for the Shanghai Dragons, and I think a welcome sight to see for all Dragons fans, in that, again, who I think is currently the most important member of this entire team is back on the starting lineup.
Yeah, just a wonderful performance put on by him. And I see moments like this. I see how much of a Genji meta this is and how much individual impact Who Are You is able to have. And I just say, damn, I wish we still had Hangzhou as well. Because seeing those guys square off against each other in this meta would be an absolute treat. But I mean, just looking at the stats here, 17 kills with the Dragon Blade throughout these 3 maps.
That's 45 final blows and 86 eliminations spread out across 3 maps. So he's getting, roughly 15 final blows per map. And nearly 30 eliminations, just under 30 eliminations per map as well. And looking at pure KDs, he's dying about half as much. So he's got more than a 2-1 there in terms of raw final blows to deaths. Not the deaths are being shown, but just from what I've seen. Dealing roughly almost 10,000 damage per map, which is kind of big for a Genji. You'd be surprised, but the highest damage dealers per teams, as far as raw damage output instead of final blows, is normally either the Junker Queen or, in this case, the Sojourn plays as well, where they can just sort of drop in that damage, especially the ticking bleed damage is really huge. Junker Queen players, they're not going to find the final blows, but they are going to find a lot of overall damage. So for Who Are You to keep up 10k damage per map, I think is a huge thing to have.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, just, Who Are You aside, it seems like everybody is very much at home in this meta, everybody able to pilot these picks to a T. We get to see Void. We saw a little bit of him, some back and forth between he and Fate, but seems like Moon has landed on Void being the stronger of the Junker Queens. He puts on a great showing for it here on his debut, but of course, Lee Jae gone, right at home on a Lucio. You've got Isiaki just playing flexible, able to pick up that Brigida, and then Lip on the Sojourn as well. So it seems like this meta might just be made for the side of the Shanghai Dragon. If anybody's going to be able to take them down, it could be a monumental task. So we'll have to see as they go forward and play against some of the other squads here in the region. But for now, signs of life shown for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but just not quite able to pick up that W. Maybe some more time here with the squad to mesh will do them some good. We'll have plenty more to talk about, though, for this first series before we get into our second one. So we'll take a quick little break. Myself and Avril will come back, chat about the Dragons' victory here a little bit more, and then we'll get squared up and ready for the Dynasty going up against the Spark. So don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
And we're back. Before we go into our second and final series of the evening, though, let's go ahead and chat a little bit about what we just witnessed here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, because they came out the gate swinging. We've seen a lot of teams over in NA be able to take wins off of squads that they haven't previously been able to beat in the other metas. But not the case here, at least at the start, as the Dragons still maintain dominance over the Guangzhou Charge.
I think part of it is the strength of the individual members on this roster. I know a lot of people are somewhat justifiably down about the Dragons from how they played in the mid-season madness, but even given that, we're back into, once again, to repeat it for like the nth time today, a meta where you can shine, the Genji meta. Seeing Void again has been a delight, and I think the strategy so far from the Moon Dragons coaching staff side is, they've kind of given a fair shake to both tanks. This is not a situation where one player has necessarily been the favorite tank for the team. We've seen a meta where Void was playing a lot of Zai, he was in for a lot. Fate came in mostly for mid-season madness, now we're in a new fresh stage. Void is the guy, and he's been looking phenomenal in the Jungle Queen today, and I would love to eventually get the Void versus Hanbin discussion going again, because that was probably, I think, the two top off-tank players of last season, and now we're into the sort of situation where we're discussing who our best Jungle Queen players are, and we'll have to see a few more games of the Dragons to finally decide, but Void has so far had a fantastic start, which is amazing to see.
Well, of course, when we're talking about, best tanks, somebody who very much needs to be in that conversation is Smurf, who we're going to be seeing coming into our next series. How do we think he is going to be able to perform on this pick? Because so far he has been incredibly flexible, and pretty much everything that he has picked up has looked great in his hands. A little bit slow to start on some of them, such as the Sigma and whatnot, but he has just been the king of consistency for the most part. So, are we anticipating that to continue? How overall do we think the Dynasty is going to look? I mean, on paper, it seems like they're still going to be just as strong as before.
Yeah, I think the next game is going to be really interesting, right, as we preview a little bit about the Seoul versus Spark game, because those are all two top seeds currently in the entire region. And that was a boop kill, by the way, confirmed now in the replay that you sort of mentioned in the broadcast. But yeah, I mean, you got Alpha Yi Shy versus Prophet and Stalker, or Prophet and Fitz, depending on who they want to play. It's going to be a pretty deadly game. So I think, right now, I would still have power ranked Seoul and Hangzhou as two of the better teams, despite Seoul also dropping out quite early. We'll have to find out what happens there, but thankfully, Steph, we don't have to wait too long.
No, we do not. We're going to go to a quick break yet once more, and then when we come back, we will be ready to jump into that second series. Our top two teams right now in the region doing battle, Alpha Yi versus Prophet on the Genji. I can't wait for it, so let's go ahead and go into that break so we can get back just a little bit faster. And we are back. It's time to go into our marquee matchup here of the evening. Our top 2 squads in the Seoul Dynasty and the Hangzhou Spark are getting ready to do battle now in a new meta. Let's see who's going to be able to come out on top, because right now it's looking like it's very much going the way of whoever can have the better Genji on the day, and I think it's pretty even between the two.
I think the part that gets a little bit more difficult for the Seoul perspective is the Sojin matchup, because in my personal opinion, and we both discussed, just talked about this cast is Shy in the Mid-Season Madness versus the Gladiators and versus everybody else, and Shy seemed like the best Sojin. He seemed like he was right at the top there, so we will need to see what Seoul are bringing to the table. My biggest question is on their starting lineup.
Sure.
Is it going to be Fitz? Is it going to be Stalker? Given that it's mostly a Sojin meta, I'm probably expecting Stalker over Fitz. The only time that Fitz should likely come on air... No, he's going to start.
Wow.
So it's actually going to be both. Wait a minute. Who's playing? Oh, Stalker's playing the Genji. That means Stalker's playing the Genji.
Genji.
Okay,
And
we're talking.
Prophet is on
what's
support.
Prophet doing? What?
Prophet is playing Brigitte. Prophet is playing Brigitte.
Because I was like, wait a minute. That means Prophet's been benched, but you can't bench Prophet.
Yeah.
And they didn't bench
How do you
Prophet. They
bench
put him in the
Oh
lineup.
my god.
Because my other
Okay.
question was, like, obviously the other situation that we have on these teams is your flex support player, creative in this case. The question becomes, how good is their break? Because the main support player, Vindane, he's going to be on the Lucio. Prophet on the break. Holy, wasn't he a Zarya player in Goats though? He doesn't even, I don't think, he was not the break player in Goats. I don't know that he has the match record veterancy on break. Obviously he's a great player, so I'm sure he can just play it, but he didn't play the break in Goats, so this is a turnaround, this is a difference.
This is a very, very different and unexpected look. Yeah, I was right there with you, just scanning across, just like, where's Prophet? How can they actually bench Prophet? But there he is, sat next to Vindame in the support role. Well, let's see if the Hangzhou Spark have any similar surprises for us. Something tells me that it's not going to be the
Probably
case.
not,
But,
unless you see, I was going to say, unless you see Architect.
Wait
a minute,
well,
where's
we do see
Alpha
Architect.
Where's Alpha
Okay.
Yi? I understand. Architect has a good Genji, but Alpha Yi's Genji has been ridiculous. That's like his best hero. Alpha Yi's Genji has been a prime leading factor for, I think, Spark's success over the course of their extremely good regular season. So they're putting, Changun's putting the faith in Architect here. I gotta say as well, the record between Spark and Seoul is 50-50, evenly flat so far this year. 2-2 apiece. The most recent win was Spark 3-0ing versus Seoul Dynasty. That was in the Mid-Season Madness. That was the reason why Seoul dropped down to the lower bracket instantaneously. So we are looking for a bit of a bounce back here, but it's a very different looking Seoul squad, of which I have no expectations. I really don't know what this is going to look like.
All right. Well, we thought we had the read. We thought this was going to be straightforward, but not the case at all. Architect coming back into play the Genji, it does make sense. Not as much as I think it needs to really justify this, just given that Alpha Yi has been incredible. But this at least makes more sense than when we saw Architect coming in and playing Ana for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, something that he had not done for an incredibly long time. This at least is more in his wheelhouse, but it's still just so interesting to not have Alpha Yi playing here.
Well, Architect's going to have to pop off, because when Alpha Yi plays that Genji, he is extremely consistent. Almost every game that we've seen from Alpha Yi has been flawless on that Genji. Even if Spark aren't winning or they're not in a great space, Alpha Yi's Genji has never been part of the issue. It's been one of the leading good factors on the team. So if Architect can't show that kind of proficiency, I'm really struggling to see why they would run Architect over Alpha Yi unless there's a separate non-game issue, like an out-of-game issue where Alpha Yi can't play for whatever reason. I actually think, now that I think about it, it might have something to do with quarantine, but then also Irony is here, because I know that Irony and Alpha Yi were playing from Korea. They've only just recently arrived in China. Sure. I was thinking maybe they're still in quarantine, but then that doesn't explain how Irony's in the lineup, so that doesn't really check out for me.
I don't know. Either way, I'm all about it. It's wild, and we haven't even started the game yet. I mean, yeah, as much as we can talk about Architect being back in and what that means, what the hell is Alpha Yi doing, I'm still very much circling and questioning around Prophet being over onto the Brigitte. This is not the change-up that we had anticipated whatsoever.
he's really putting a lot of faith in the other DPS members here of Fitz and Stalker. I was going to say the rookies, but really Stalker's the rookie. But he is a very flexible rookie, and I think on Genji, on Stalker's past, Genji was also part of his wheelhouse in a big way. So this is not unfamiliar territory for Stalker. He absolutely can be the guy on the Genji, but if you are playing that over Profit, and you're putting Profit, well, not specifically Stalker's decision, I don't know whose decision, maybe it's Toby's, maybe MMA or Wizardgong, but the fact that they are trusting Stalker's Genji over Profit's Genji, or rather they would just rather have Profit in that support lineup than anybody else. I think it speaks volumes on a couple of different levels, in that maybe they're not comfortable with creative in that position. Who knows? Maybe they truly do believe Stalker is just a better fit on that Genji DPS, and the only way to fit Profit in is on that support.
It could be. I mean, maybe Profit has a clause that in his contract that he has to play in every single game, because we have not seen him benched. And, they were just like, well, I guess we just have to put him on Brig because we like Stalker's Genji so much. We just have to do
What's
this.
The stat?
So, it could be that.
What's the stat, by the way? That I think Jonak held the record for most matches played because he'd never been benched in his whole career. But beyond Jonak, now that Jonak's retired, like, who has that record been overtaken? Who else can it? Is it got to be? It's got to be Profit, surely. Because
it would feel like it would be.
I think Profit in all iterations of every team he's played on has pretty much never been benched. So I have to imagine Profit is the most unbenched player of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I would assume that is the case, but I don't know. We'll have to just kind of wait and see how this all looks. But it's going to be pretty wild as we jump into this one. We are having a little bit of an extended, taking a little bit of an extended time here to try to get into game because there was a water keyboard issue, as Vindham put it. Profit, I guess he's just so jazzed up and ready to play. He's so jazzed up and ready to play Brigitte, pretty much like the first time in forever at the very least that he knocked some water over and spilled it on his keyboard. So have to make sure that's cleaned up because we need all the peripherals working correctly, obviously.
I heard there was flooding in Korea, but I didn't know it was that serious. I didn't know it was up to that level. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's broken into the Gen G offices on the 4th floor, apparently. Profit. It is a bit of a rainy day, but he's exacerbating things by spilling some water on the desk. But it seems like everything's been taken care of. They are sat down in their seats and ready to get into game. We'll take a look at the map set here in just a moment and see where we go. We already got Nepal and Hollywood in our first series. See if we get any newer maps as well. Looks like no. It's going to be Nepal at the very end if we can go to map 5, which please God give us map 5. But it will be Ilios to start, then into Midtown. Oh, we do get Junkertown. That's true. That's very true. So we're guaranteed a Junkertown.
Hey, if you're playing Junker Queen, you got to play her on the home map. That's how it is. That actually might be pretty reasonable forfeits because once we get into something like a Junkertown, I think the possibility of seeing either an Ashe or, God willing, even a Widowmaker coming out on that map might start to become possible. I still have some questions surrounding, how Fitz can look versus Shy, because I would have said that Stalker is maybe the better fit on the Sojourn to try and match Shy, given how amazing Shy has been on the Sojourn so far. So, see if Fitz is going to do that. I don't think this is going to be the Fitz Sombra, or rather I should change my language and say I hope it's not the Fitz Sombra. It's not.
Well, I did just get word from good old Swing Chip that according to the Chinese broadcast, it is because Alpha E is still in quarantine. So that's why Architect is being fielded for the moment.
So it is not, though. That's what I'm saying, is like they both came to China at the same time.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you exactly what the logistics are there, but seems like that's the case. It's been known over on the Chinese broadcast. We'll go ahead and say it here as well. So we will likely be seeing Alpha E in the meantime. But for now, it's Architect. Let's see how practiced he is. Obviously, this is his, much like Who Are You, namesake hero, you would say.
Ironing also the Brig as well.
Right on top of Bernard.
Oh, super rich low. Yeah, Bernard taking a big hit as well. That's going to be Spark instantly giving up position of the point itself. So first cap going Seoul.
Profit. Take it down. Bernard says welcome to the support role. Vindham's going to fall as well. So that's both supports now taken away from the side of the Dynasty. Smurf able to answer one back. Getting rid of Bernard there in that front line. But yeah, it's just a matter of time there. Shy just painting a picture around Fitstrong and outline, but eventually does manage to find his target. Gets a follow-up there. And now that flip will be there. 23% established for the side of the Dynasty as Spark gain control.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone here that Shy's already just starting to get these frags in. Setting up, I believe, 3 final blows there in that last engagement. And with Bernard's opening frag, by the way, onto Prophet, allowing Spark to get control and get that flip back. So very quickly now, Spark will catch up, overtake, and the first ultimates coming online are going to be support. So no ridiculous Genji openings here. No who are you on the table.
Nope. Well, slight little lead is there for Stalker. Big one now as he dashes through, builds up quite a bit of percentage. Bernard going to be falling low. The shout comes in.
Wait, no!
Rich trying to survive, but no, he gets taken down. Fitz with a nice headshot, finds the kill, but Stalker and Prophet both going to be eliminated on the back end. Fitz will find a follow-up. The support's out of the fight here for the side of the Spark, but the flip is there. Dynasty gaining control, but can they survive in the extended fight? Looks like the answer is going to be no, because Shy is just continuing to land rail shot after rail shot.
Yeah, he is really just kind of, again, showing why he is considered to be the best Sojourn player, maybe even the best hit scan. 5 final blows over the course of these 2 fights, 50% now found for the Hangzhou Spark as the ultimates start to really come online in a big way. Dynasty trying to catch up on ultimates. They're not that far off, but it's 4 ticks now for Spark.
I mean, the biggest problem is that Prophet is quite far off. He's still 30% away. Already has the rally ready to roll.
that early death definitely costs you a lot of time.
Yeah. Just hasn't found the stability necessary. Sound barrier going to be dropped on either side in response to the overclock. The blade still ready to go here on either side. No, actually, Stalker had already used it, just didn't get any value from it. Architect still holds on to one of his own now as the shielding has expired. Anti goes out onto 2. They're looking to try to out-pressure Bernard. He goes down to a sliver of HP. The rally helps keep him alive for a little bit longer, and so far, no one has been able to find him. He actually is going to be able to survive the fight. Instead, the focus gets turned over towards Architect, and now Fitz over on the walkway with that overclock will be able to pick up 2 quick kills. Looks for Super Rich on the back end, sets up for the elimination. And once more, the Dynasty will gain control of the point, but they're ticking up now at 42%. A long ways to go if they want to close this out.
It's both teams popping 4 ultimates in there, but it will be the Seoul Dynasty. Smurf with the Rampage will make a huge difference here. Bernard still 50% behind him. I mean, that really does count for a lot at the end of the day. Rampage puts up a gigantic amount of pressure onto the team. And then starts to open up opportunities for players like Fitz to get some value on the overclocker there as well. Shutting down Architect's Blade was another big thing that happened as well for the Seoul Dynasty in the previous fight. So it will be opportunity now for Bernard to pop in this Rampage. It will be kind of soft counted by off its rally.
Stalker gonna play carefully here. The rally's gonna be called to go for the aggressive fight. Bernard does hold on to that Rampage, but that was how much damage he's taken now. Definitely needs to hold on to it. Just keep it pocketed for now, but the lead getting ready to be gained here for the side of the Dynasty as they chase forward, continue to find some staggers. Narrowly escaping is Super Rich as he scurries his way back into the dropship, but yeah, last fight territory for either side.
And that's the thing, right? Spark unfortunately end up losing a fight in a situation where Seoul times it perfectly. They know that if Spark lose there, they're going to struggle to get to this point now, and Bernard wants to use his ultimate. He's going to be able to find it. Touch is confirmed by the Tracer of Architect. Now Bernard needs to find this.
That's forward. Managed to get on and through with a Rampage. The anti out in the Fitz, and Architect is there. Scoops the kill. Now Finham's going to be bled out. Find 2 quick kills. Looks like the Spark not done yet. The side of the Dynasty, if they want to be able to recontest this, they need to drop back right now and get ready for the last second touch. Smurf narrowly does manage to make his way back. Rejoins in with Prophet. Fitz over on the Tracer now, getting ready for the touch.
Yep, will be Rampage time for Smurf as well. This won't be counted. Super Rich Irony Needle.
Touch isn't there yet.
Just a little bit off. They just get
Very
it.
last
Smurf,
second.
okay. This has to be a Rampage now.
They narrowly managed to make it happen. The Rampage going to be used. Cuts through.
Just
only finds Bernard, but if they can focus fire down the Junker Queen, it might just be enough. But the kill is not there, and Shy yet again with a rail takes down Vindheim. He was getting ready to have that beat at the ready, but Stalker pulls out the blade, and this time it's finding so much value. 4 quick kills, scooped up, looks for the final blow onto Architect, will not get it. Smurf takes it away with a melee hit. There's the flip, there's the OT bleed out, and so neck and neck between these 2 squads. But despite how things started, the Dynasty will be able to take the first round. Ruins is theirs.
And it wasn't looking good for the Seoul Dynasty until Stalker comes on out with that incredible blade. 4K including onto Super Rich, who was at 98% towards the Lucio sound barrier. If that sound barrier comes on through, those kills wouldn't be there. Spark would still have an opportunity to play in. Seoul Dynasty would then also use, I believe, their sound barrier was also coming online, and that would have been an extended skirmish. But the timing of that blade could not have been more precise just to get those members done before Spark start coming back online. So very close 99 to 99, and a huge bounce back from the Seoul Dynasty, snowballing off a very important fight where Smurf had the Rampage where Bernard did not. As we move over to Lighthouse now, again, very standard stuff. this is another position where maybe an Ashe could get played, but no team is willing to go there just yet.
Just keeping everything fairly neutral with the comps. The Tracer is pretty much the only real variation that we saw, but it's all because of that last second desperation needing to get the touch, and it worked a treat for the side of the Dynasty. Rail goes wide, Fitz avoiding getting his head taken off there. As both squads make their way over to the point. Now contesting it. Shout out. Burned on both sides. Vinheim and Providence both taking a ton of damage right now. Dynasty under an immense amount of pressure, and Vinheim going to fall. Shy once more, able to find the opening kill. Now follows up for a second onto Smurf. Super Rich will take it away from him there as they look for a kill on the Prophet as well. And the cleanup coming through. Damn near a team kill, and that's going to be the Spark grabbing control of the point first.
It's no members lost on the side of Spark as well, so now they get to take all advanced positioning. And the damage pressure that we saw them, if you looked at the Seoul Dynasty HP bars before everything kind of went down, I think all 5 members of Seoul were on 50% or less HP, so it was just a moment of cleanup there for the Hangzhou Spark. 2 rails. The rest is history as we head into fight number 2 now. Neutral number 2, no ultimates available just yet.
Going out. Architect keeping pace with Stalker here. He's about 5% behind. A Stalker looking for a target. Spamming out these right clicks, but Smurf pressured out, wraps around the backside, ends up falling. They will find Shy for their troubles. Frontline broken down just for one of the DPS on the side of the Spark. Is that going to be good enough? Riley's rolling from Irony. So it seems like, okay, Provid is actually going to match this one. Dive is going through, though. They're still looking for Fit. They take him low, but they can't get the kill. Now they've overstepped. Irony going to be eliminated. Bernard falling low. The sound barrier goes through. Only shields up onto 3 here on the side of the Spark. Shy not in range of it. Blade pulled. Bernard cut down. Looks like the Dynasty should be able to break through on this fight. Drop down, grabs the mini pack, goes right back in. The flip's coming through. Dynasty now in control. 56% set up for the side of the Spark with both DPS ults ready to go.
Spark overstepped there. They did not need to chase that far. They baited out the extra rally from Prophet. At that
really
point, you can back out. I mean, they did, and that's the thing about this 4v4 situation is you trade Shy for Smurf. That's a positive trade for Spark because having one Jungle Queen alive when the other one is not is a big deal. Now Shy gets a clean trade on the Stalker without losing anybody on his side.
Yeah, didn't even have to pop the overclock for that one. Now we'll go ahead and utilize it. Sound barrier in response from Vinheim, but it's only onto the supports. He and Prophet getting shielded up. Everybody else left out to dry. The only thing that they get is a commanding shout from Smurf, and that is just not anywhere close enough to the amount of healing and green HP that they need. They get taken down. Stalker with a little bit of extending there on the point. Saggers himself 40, almost 40% set up, but now the Spark very much in control.
And this is a situation that's very common in the Jungle Queen matchup as well, where you see both teams having a Rampage finally available, but no support ultimates to counter it because the support ultimates were burned a lot earlier. Jungle Queen's Rampage takes a long time to charge. Both Rally and Sound Barrier do not take as long, nearly as long, so they're both gone, which means both these Rampages will stick.
Overclock is here. Fitz trying to find somebody, but he's not going to get anything. Rampage through from Bernard. Does manage to find 3. Smurf going to be eliminated. This is final fight. They need to find some stability, some picks right here, right now. The Dynasty want to be able to take this as a 2-0. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to be going to well. 1 kill on to Shy. Getting ready to have to touch for the overtime. Stalker already there.
Coming.
Forces this one out. Smurf's coming back. Rampage ready to go from him. Everything in the kitchen sink going to have to be used here from the side of the Dynasty. As the blade gets pulled, Architect immediately finds Vinheim. Fitz and Stalker both going to be taken out. The dash through. Smurf gets 2 with the Rampage, but the cleanup is there for the side of the Spark. They shut them out of this one. Lighthouse nowhere near as back and forth, nowhere near as close as Ruins. That will extend us now to well to see who is walking away victorious on Ilios.
Yeah. And that sort of Jungle Queen versus Jungle Queen situation where they both have ultimates and no one has support ultimates, that's like a showdown at high noon. Who gets to actually pull that trigger early? Because what you see here is Burner finds the Rampage onto Seoul, which obviously is going to catch Smurf because when you Rampage, ideally you are going to catch the opponent's Jungle Queen as well. Smurf, can he respond to that time? He could possibly pull his own Rampage, but if he does and dies in the middle of it because he's currently bleeding down very rapidly, taking a lot of damage while anti, he's going to lose the ultimate, so it puts the Jungle Queen player in a really contentious place where they're kind of concerned, they don't have the confidence to pull back their own ultimate, but given that Smurf dies at around, what, 80-ish%, yes, it was final fight territory from there. And you're seeing now that we're seeing the first different hero coming on through, and it is the Echo on Well, which is, I think, the one part of this map that you can justify an Echo. I will still say, however, though, Genji is more of a pop-up hero than Echo. Echo is a very long-range hero, but she doesn't execute in the same way with the same safety as Genji, so see if Stalker can make this work.
Decent pressure out onto a couple members here for the Spark, so it's good chip damage being shown from the side of the Dynasty thus far. As the point gets unlocked, both teams moving forward to contest it, and Stalker, he does find value already. Shy going to be beamed down. Now looking for just a little bit more. The point going to be conceded widely here. And as the Spark cannot really continue to play forward. Sticky bombs going out. Bernard going to pop in the shout, just trying to keep himself and everybody else alive, but Irony still going to end up getting dropped. Bernard right back into the mix, manages to help break down the front line. Smurf falling, but it seems like widely it's still very much the Dynasty taking the fight in their own hands. Find some follow-up kills, and they hold control of the point.
I mean, that's great isolation by Stalker. He finds Shy kind of on an off angle as you would kind of want to do as a Sojin player. He pops down Stickies next to Shy, which cuts off his escape, and then due to the damage from that, finds the 50% mark, beams Shy down. Shy can't slide away, and that's the opening 5v4 secured. And I think Stalker going for Shy opening is very important because that's the one player that can shut Stalker down. So we'll have to see this duplicate coming online, and maybe the next fight copying a junk queen. That can be a difference maker as well.
Prophet zoned out there for just a moment. Shy trying to get that kill. Turns its sights over to him once more. Trying to build up for this rail. Stalker playing once more around the outskirts of the point here, up into the skies. Still low on HP, however. Needs to be playing this out very carefully. Shout used, overclock pop, Fitz charging forward. They find Irony for the first shot. Super Rich gonna have to try to play elusively. Woo, Fitz just feels that. Those shots coming in from Shy, tickling him on his shoulder, just turns and domes him quickly. Massive shutdown here for the side of the Dynasty, as Bernard is going to be staggered here on the point. Super Rich eventually going to be taken out. More time bought, 80% locked in. They are looking for the cleanup right now, are the Dynasty.
And the difference maker there is the fact that support ultimates were online for the Seoul Dynasty, specifically Vindame Sound Barrier, were not online for the Hangzhou Spark. Both Super Rich and Irony died in the 90s. 90% now found. Neither of the Jungle Queen players are anywhere near the Rampage, but the duplicate is online. So can we find this duplicated Rampage? It can be difficult, you'd be surprised. Hard to charge up the Rampage, even in duplicate form.
Show how much time Stalker's been practicing.
He picked the Genji.
As actually, no, he's going to go for the Genji. So there is a Genji on this roster after all. Dashing through, Architect only able to find Vinham. Now 2 members going to be gone. The rally from Iron is not offering up enough to try to keep them alive. Architect with his blade, however, is fighting back. Not going down without a fight, but eventually has to resheath it. Now it's just him and Irony basically trying to win out the fight right now between the two of them. However, the point still being occupied. The Spark are keeping this overtime extended. The Dynasty rejoining. Their full 5 members coming back into the fray. It might just come down to these Rampages. They narrowly give this one up. They managed to get the touch back through once more. Rampage v Rampage. The rail shot is good. Prophet taken out by Architect. Now the overclock pop. They're looking for Stalker up into the sky. They managed to find him. The Spark, they managed to go ahead and get this cap through. Map not done yet. The 100-0 not going to be there. Dynasty once more going to have to try to retake this.
Yeah, well, Dynasty get out with most of the members alive here. Spark this time are not going to overstay their welcome and overstep their boundaries here. That was, I think, a heart-skipping moment. I thought the C9 was there. I thought they weren't going to touch. I literally saw the overtime wick burn down to almost nothing. But somebody just managed to get in there. Rampage coming through now, both teams.
Oh, it's massive. Managing to clip onto 4. Bernard just bleeding him dry. Smurf answering back, however. Follow-up is looking great for the side of the Dynasty. They might just be able to make this happen. Suddenly, Shy is the last one standing. They know where he's at. They're looking to zone him away as the cap comes in. The Jagged Blade not going to connect, but I don't think they really care. He's shoved back over towards their side of the spawn. The cleanup comes in. They get that stagger. The OT starting to bleed away. Can anybody get the touch? The answer is going to be yes. Bernard out. Desperation swapping over the Doom Fist. Be looking to keep things going here for his squad. The rail going into the wall. Fitz unable to find that added damage that he's looking for. Here at the start of the fight, Nate's going to be bounced back away. Won't find that zoning damage. Irony, however, now going to be picked off. Architect at a sliver of HP. The overtime bleeding down. They once more get the touch to reset it, but Super Rich is going to be clipped out of the sky. Great little shots coming in, and it feels like the Dynasty should inevitably be able to close this, but Shy comes back in. Finds 2 quick kills. Can he do it? No! Gets pressured out. Stalker gets on top of him, manages to find the elimination, and in the very end, it's a great overtime fight here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but the Dynasty will be able to take it. Ilios is theirs, 2-1.
Yeah, they make it very close, a very competitive map overall for both teams there, but revisit the situation in, I think, the second to last fight on Well there, the exchange of the Junker Queen ultimates, where this time Smurf doesn't want to go down without using his own Rampage. He's like, you know, Bernard's Rampage be damned, I will pop my Rampage no matter what the situation is. He gets it in there, and despite Bernard having a lot more members connected through, and actually the bleed down effects collecting, I believe, at least 2 kills, Smurf still manages to get a couple members down, but the addition of, you know, Stalk and the rest of Seoul Dynasty being in the mix means that when the dust settles, they have 3 alive, and Spark only have 2 alive, so Seoul work in that 3v2 advantage, they get their map.
Some wild skirmishing here, and very much on a knife's edge as the Dynasty do manage to take Ilios for themselves, but it's not without breaking a sweat, that is for damn sure. Coming up next, though, on Hybrid, we'll be going over to Midtown. A little bit of, you know, familiarity compared to what we have been seeing thus far in this year. We'll see how these squads look moving into that map with this Junker Queen meta behind them, and see whether or not the Hangzhou Spark are going to be able to win out and tie this up 1-1. That map's coming up in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. And we are back. It's time to go into map number 2. Midtown coming up as we get ready to go for Hybrid. Dynasty currently leading 1-0 over the Hangzhou Spark. But it was incredibly back and forth on Ilios. Seems like, especially compared to our first series, a bit more evenly matched. And that's what we anticipate, given that we do have our top 2 teams in the region squaring off.
Yeah, I think Burnout and Smurf both playing each other pretty close in the Jungle Queen so far.
Yep.
Early thoughts on Prophet Brig. I don't know if there's anything too remarkable to talk about just yet as far as the Brig goes. We'll see what happens in future maps here, but yeah, I mean, he actually managed to get a reasonable amount of final blows in there. Didn't stand out for any poor reasons, so I guess that's always good news when you don't have you know, obvious mistakes made by supports. That's probably a good sign, so we'll give him a passing grade for now and just see how things move forward in Midtown.
Yeah, I think that if I had to describe it in 2 words, it would be just fine. You know, nothing to point out negatively, as you say, but also not much to speak of as far as praise is concerned. You know, I guess maybe trailing a little bit further behind Irony when it came down to just that rally charge, but that's kind of to be anticipated as he really finds his footing on this pick.
I mean, I will say, this is not the meta for Briggs to pop off, right? That's like our previous 2 metas and stages. That's where you saw Vindame do, you know, doing God's work on that Brigitte, but now in a Junker Queen meta where you are kind of an accessory piece to the Junker Queen success, and ideally the most impactful things you can do is kind of whip shot a Dragon Blade away or whip shot a Junker Queen away. Beyond that, you know, if you can add some extra damage in and get some shield bash damage in, it's pretty damn good. Really impressed by Stalker though. I think a lot of people probably weren't expecting a lot from Stalker, given if you haven't seen him play on Genji, you're probably surprised he's even on that Genji position, but that insane 4K blade that he had on Ruins really gave them that first round win. And beyond that as well, just statistically speaking, was, you know, outperforming everyone else on the server. So he really pulled his weight on that last map.
Yeah. Still, though, I mean, with that incredible pop-off there from Stalker, still need to be very concerned about Shy, because we're seeing how close he's able to make this, you know, pretty much all on his lonesome, much like we saw Stalker drag them over the finish line on Ruins. Shy has been a very dominating presence so far.
They're the 2 leading players on the last map. It's Stalker on 20 final blows, then Shy on 18 final blows, which is the second highest. And beyond that, you have like 11 on the other DPSs. So Stalker and Shy definitely a cut above so far as the 2 top players in the lobby. We're moving now into Midtown opening fight. We'll see if that continues or whether things change. Stalker with the opening first fight.
Yeah, getting the better of Architect there. New Blood versus Ult. Comes out on top. Fits timing it perfectly to get the rail shot across there on a Super Rich. And it's looking like they are going to very swiftly be able to break through his point A defense, as Fitz will go ahead and finish off Bernard. So now occupying the point. Cap should come in unless we see a last-second contest, but that seems unlikely.
You really need to have Bernard in position. With Bernard dead, there's no shot. So that's why you see Seoul Dynasty, they will chase up until the point they can guarantee the kill to Bernard. Once that's done for, they don't need to chase any further. They can start focusing on the cap, and very effective snowball as well, where possibly Shy can get caught out here. He is.
Oh boy.
Again, working the off angle, but Stalker finds him. Fitz getting the kill.
I mean, they just force him up into the sky. Rail shot connects. Great accuracy there from Fitz. Really, okay. Yeah, just does it again.
Fitz is taking command. That's 4 kills now over the course of these 2 fights, and they'll probably get this Bernard frag as well. Very low HP, and Fitz isn't even interested. He knows he can move on.
Yep. Looking for a different target, letting everybody else skirmish over who gets the final kill, or final blow there onto Bernard. And yeah,
like I said,
the cart is kind of gliding right now.
It's just snowballing. They've been snowballing since getting the initial frag from Stalker and Architect, forcing that 5 versus 4 situation where they cleanly take A, and it really hasn't stopped then with another clean pickoff onto Shy, who is, you know, very far off to the side, and I think that's something you would expect a Sojourn player to do. It's just that he probably didn't respect the fact that Stalker could have been right on top of him, and that ends up allowing the kill to come through from Fitz, and from there another 5 versus 4. So Sparker yet to put themselves on the 5 part of that equation. They're constantly on the 4.
Well, a little bit of a lull in the action here at long last, as the Hangzhou Spark will say. We're more than happy to have the action continue. Slow down a bit. Let's get right to the top of the ramp. Overclock now available. Shy not that far off. 18% left to go. until he can match these ults, but it's just going to get popped right off the rip. Fitz now looking for a target, dropping down off the high ground. Pursuit comes in from behind. Architect looking to out-pressure him. Takes a nasty shot, however. Falls low. Super Rich going to get cleaned up now. Bernard taken out in the cart. It's just 0.3 meters left to go. Team kill is there, and it is over 5 minutes as we enter into the terminal.
That's not even the craziest
brutal.
stat so far. You know what the craziest stat so far is over the course of 2 capture points, Spark don't have a single final blow. Not a single member of their squad has gotten a single kill yet. So
oh dear
that
God,
last
you are
that
correct.
last fight was a ult difference. No, by the way, no players of Spark have any ultimates. Bernard and Shy are just about to get them now. So Seoul Dynasty, they pop Overclock, they pop Rally, and Spark can't respond.
Well, that's a pretty damning
Is this their
figure.
first kill? Can they get a kill now?
They're trying for it. Shy now going to be popping the
Rampage?
overclock. The shout going to be used. Vinham pressured out, goes low, still holds on to that sound barrier, however. Does not panic ult now with the overclock expired. They'll look to push
What a
back in.
respect
This
being
could be 4v4.
That
Everybody
would've
has
been
ults
the
inside
perfect
from
Rampage.
Resurgence. Oh, okay, blade out. Stalker dives forward. Bernard going to be taking down the sound barrier. He's just too late from Super Rich to try to save their tank. Now they pile in, looking for a little bit more. Get rid of the shielding there from Architect. Rampage cuts through, managing to find 3. It's both of the supports included in that figure. Architect will finally find a final blow for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Gets himself a second. As Stalker, in the meantime, just has Shy juggled into a corner. Bullies him out, finds the kills, and despite Architect's best efforts finally putting them on the board, the cart continues to press forward.
I was going to say as well, you know, we had a previous situation where Bernard had the perfect opportunity to pop in a Rampage, chose not to. And as he backs on out and they reset, it is Smurf finding it and Bernard falling. Despite the best efforts, Spark, they're only barely holding on off the back of Arctic, finding a double kill on the plate. Now we go with Bernard's Rampage.
Okay. The rally is rolling, just trying to keep them alive. Smurf, however, still going to be pressured out as the axe comes slashing across Smurf. A couple extra final blows being found now as Architect very much has the lion's share of them. I mean, very much is a deadlift from his perspective. They will get a team kill in the end. And finally, some stability is found.
I had to hold myself back from making the 2 final blow 100% deadlift meme come through again. As, it was there for Architect in the previous fight. He had the only 2 final blows of all of Spark. He'll be holding 5 out of 7 now. So let's see how things move forward. A couple players low on the side of Spark. Shout's been expended.
Shy immediately collapsed upon the kill. Fitz spamming everybody else down as they try to exit from the side room. Overclock nearly there for him. Super Rich pressured out. Smurf gets the elimination. Irony trying to hold on here. He's holding on by a thread, but eventually Stalker will be able to get the finishing blow. Bernard gets cleaned up as well, and it's just seeming like one after the other strung together. Down go the members of the Hangzhou Spark. The push resuming once more for the side of the Dynasty.
Yep, Architect only coming back online now, or soon. He needs this blade desperately, but no one can even touch. The boop coming through at the end there from Vindem as well that we did see. Covered by
Fitz was right.
Overwatching Fitz.
He said this ends now, and then it did.
Yep. It's all
Aptly
over.
timed little voice line.
So that was one of the cleanest 2:16. I mean, they started with like 5 minutes on C,
Yeah.
was it? Did they have 5 minutes going to C?
5-0.
So that's not a
Yeah,
bad.
like
That's actually
5:04.
not a bad, you know, kind of bleed down at the
Time
time
drain.
before Spark. If you're looking for any silver linings there, given that Spark immensely struggled on this defense, the only silver lining is that they did shave nearly 3 minutes off, which is something, but it does require them to finish the entire map now, and something needs to be done about how early Shy is getting picked here. It's a combination of he is trying to, at least on the cases of like B and some other points, trying to play a little bit more forward and off angles, maybe not respecting the flanks from Stalker and co, but also beyond that as well, Seoul Dynasty are very much running at him, gunning him down as the first member to kill. I mean, usually you'd be kind of targeting the brig for the most part, because the Sojins are a little bit more tricky to get locked down, but if Shy's too far forward or he's too far out of position, even the slide is not going to be enough to save him. And when Shy's been going down a significant amount of time, I mean, he's not going to be there to respond and get those rail kills. He's only on 1 final blow so far, and given that Architect has the lion's share and Spark barely have any final blows to work with, this needs to be a much better attack than it was a defense.
Oh, yeah. In every single metric, finishing with no time in the bank, obviously not going to be ideal for them either, because they don't want to be playing for a draw. They want to be playing to tie this up. So pressure is certainly mounting. Shy really needs to be the one to try to get it done. Gets hit, quick little pullback, trying to bring him into line of sight so they can get a punish, but he does manage to elude getting taken down by the Jagged Blade. Shout used for Bernard. Trying to keep everybody as healthy as possible. Shy again, though, getting pressured.
Swapping around, look at this, rotation back into main now. It's burnout, super rich low.
Aid value. It looked like the placement of that was going to be good, but Bernard ends up falling, and now they're completely contained and locked into underneath the drain guards. They're trying to play Ring Around the Rosie just a bit, but Profit, he's gone ahead, circumnavigated them, got in from behind. They just all stay locked in the alleyways. The cleanup comes through.
It's just a better response from the Seoul Dynasty. Also, I think Hangzhou Spark didn't really do themselves any favors by playing alleyway. In this type of composition, you just don't want to be in the choke. You do not want to be the team stuck in that choke and just allowing Genjis to dash on through, getting a ton of damage and allowing for easy rails and stuff as well, easy knife pulls. Yeah, Seoul Dynasty just, they saw the rotation from Spark and the counter rotations. Seoul responded instantly. So see how Spark want to play this now. They're going to get kind of back into alley, but this could be tricky depending on where Seoul Dynasty are. If Seoul Dynasty decide to push on up, Hangzhou Spark could be caught.
Slow and steady, but that's just doing nothing but benefiting the side of the Dynasty. They're happy for this to be at a snail's pace right now. Spark just poking and prodding, hoping desperately for a pick. The rail being held, trying to see if anyone comes out around the side of the fire truck. They're playing away from it. Now the nade zones him back indoors, breaking his line of sight. Gets the spot there for just a moment of the vid hit, but now pull the trigger. Now finally sends the rail out, but it's not going to lead to a kill. There's no one to play off the back of that, so nothing found. Now once more, the shouts coming from both sides. Stalker will go down. Bernard managing to get on top of him. Gets the punish. Just not going to be enough for them, because right as I say that, Vince gets the headshot. Irony now going to be taken down. Vince nearly with the overclock built up. Chai has his first, pops it immediately. Sound barrier in response from Benham. The rally rolling as well. Super Rich uses his own shielding, but they just managed to push through it. Profit takes out Shy. Architect is dead, and this is just going to be a clean sweep.
The couple things going on there was the fact that you had Irony going down and you didn't have the extra rally to play through. Both Profit and Vindame got to use their support ultimates. Super has tried to respond with a sound barrier, but double support ultimates will clear that instantly. Shy tried to get something done onto the overclock, but he was only spending the entire time shooting Profit with a shield up, so couldn't find a frag, and then I guess he slides into Smurf without realizing that Smurf was behind him. We saw from Shy's POV, he slides backwards, and Smurf's like, well, I guess it's a free kill for me.
Hello. Well, making up for it here. Shy takes out Vince. It's going to be the overclock out of the fight. Needs to rejoin. Stalker in the meantime looking to hold everybody at bay with the blade. Pulled out. Bernard under pressure ends up falling. Single slash to the follow-up from Smurf. Good enough to go ahead and take down the enemy Junker Queen.
They want Vindame.
A little bit more. They're jumping forward. They're trying to get on top of Smurf here as well, and Vindame. Just haven't been able to find it. In fact, it's going to be Super Rich and Irony now getting taken out of the fight. 35 seconds remaining. Architect with a blade. Nearly, they have a Rampage online, but is it going to be in time? Can they play off the back of these ults well enough to actually get this cap on A? Right now, it's looking like the full hold.
Yeah, the time is just not going to be there for the Spark, even if they cap A. Remember, they have to finish the entire map, and if they don't do it with the time, it's a draw-only scenario. So this map is pretty much done and dusted here. Spark would have to kind of completely flip the script and flip that table over. Seoul Dynasty don't look like they're going to be falling over just yet. This fight, though, is still not completely over, given that Burner has a shout. He has a Rampage coming on.
Touch. All right, where's the touch? Haven't seen it yet. There it is for very last second. They managed to make it happen. The Rampage is absolutely massive. Catches everybody else that was alive in the fight. Smurf, the last man standing here at the very end. There's just nothing for him to do but die in the corner. It seems like at the very last moments, Hangzhou Spark will find their footing. They managed to strike, playing off the back of a massive ult. And they go ahead and get the cap. So 2.5 minutes going to be added to the time bank. But is this the flip of the script that you were asking for, or will this just get bled dry once more?
I have a very interesting stat line to come through. It's the fact that there's only a 200 to 300 damage differential between these two teams, but the Seoul Dynasty have about 22 more final blows, despite the team damage difference not being that high at all. In fact, Shy is doing more damage with better rail accuracy than Fitz, but he's got less kills, so Spark are struggling to collect these final blows despite getting just as good damage.
So all I'm hearing is that Profit is the go-to healer, and he's just able to keep everybody alive despite the immense amount of damage output coming through. That's all I'm picking up on this one. Into the corner, though. Smurf going to be taken down. Good opener. As the overclock does expire. Looks for a little bit more. They managed to pressure him out. Stalker diving in. Does find Shy, but fits off screen as well. Finished off by Architect. As Genji just managing to get on top of the opposing Sojourns. finding some nice value. Prophet trying to escape, takes the shield bash up here onto the high ground, but still is in a really rough spot. With a re-arrival of Smurf, it seems like he will be okay for now. Cart can now start moving forward down into the underpass. 1 minute and 23 seconds remaining.
I think there's a sort of situation where, you know, this is going to be a load-bearing rally coming through from Irony because it has to survive up against a sound barrier up Blade plus the Rampage from Smurf. All Seoul have to do is wait for his Rampage. They can just pop that and then they can win.
Okay,
and Irony's dead.
Fitz made down. Irony gonna fall. Doesn't get to use the rally. There's the Blade just slicing through them. The kills are found, and once more the Cart gonna be halted, rolling back. 55 seconds left at the side of the Spark, and just one ult to speak of.
They're even looking for a potential spawn camp here as well, which will waste the time of the Spark, but you have to be careful about not overstepping because if you do, you lose the opportunity to get this one big Rampage fight. Smurf popping the Rampage here can be the winning
Profit
play,
dead.
but with Profit down, they have to back out.
Yeah, not even the
And they
headshot,
fought
just
as well.
the body shot there with the rail, and Shy follows up, gets both supports now for his troubles. Pushing forward, and yeah, I mean, this is what you're talking about, that overextension, not playing carefully enough. Cart still has a considerable amount of distance, however, so the Dynasty should be able to get one more 5-man fight to contest this.
And I think for the Seoul Dynasty, that's a situation where they just didn't need to get that aggressive. They should be playing a little bit further back, even allowing the Spark to get in the underpass to touch the payload, then play for the Rampage. They can still do that now, but with the Spark in a much better position. Spark have better opening position here than they would have previously had the Seoul Dynasty just pulled back.
Rally out from Irony, the ante from the Rampage, only catching 2. Bernard under a little bit of pressure, but now can be healed. The Architect finds Fitz, Blade pulled out immediately. Gets in, finds Prophet, finds Smurf, and it seems like we are not done yet. Architect
Huge.
picking up 4 eliminations with the Blade itself. Otherwise, I believe, just completely aces the squad. And that is going to be the
Okay,
cap
so
now on to point B.
We are realistically looking at a Spark draw scenario now, so their goal is to finish the map, play for the draw scenario on the time bank, and then survive in the series from now. That's better than being down 0-2 and having to reverse sweep, but you know, this is another situation where I think Seoul probably could have just finished the map there on B had they not gone for the spawn camp, but now they have to kind of lie in that bed. They can still win the map. They are not in the draw scenario. Spark are.
Overclock forcing them back. Bernard down to a sliver of HP. Shy gonna get picked off. Any kills are just an immense amount of value here for the side of the Dynasty. Midhame maybe overstepping. Now going to be taking down the Rampage. Massive from Bernard. Catches everybody else. The cleanup is there. And just like that, the Dynasty have overstepped once more. The cleanup is in. The card advancing forward.
And Prophet popped up, so that's actually even better for the Hangzhou Spark because not only do they win that fight, but it's a 2-2 ultimate trade, which evens out the amount of ultimates that was spent. So Spark just get to walk on forward now, and they have to, you know, trust in the Shy overclock that he will live during the swap because again, Shy has been the number 1 target, and he needs to be careful. His HP is looking fantastic.
The Overclock popped the Blade there. Stalker looking to shut this one down at long last. Cut down, however. Still, an immense amount of value found with the 2 kills. Now Super Rich as well going to fall. That is the supports out of the fray. Bernard and Architect, just a sliver of HP, do get cleaned up. And unfortunately, it's a great looking run back for the longest time here on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. They fight back when they have no time left, time and time again. But they cannot make it to the finish line. It all fizzles out from there.
Yeah, that was, again, great targeting from the Seoul Dynasty. One thing they've done fantastically in this series, not just this map, but is get on top of Shy. They completely nullified his impact on this map. That last Blade, jumping on top of him, knowing that that was Spark's only remaining card to play, you take that card off the table from the Hangzhou Spark, and suddenly they can't go to time bank anymore. And again, looking statistically, it's such an interesting matchup where Shy statistically played a lot better than Fitz in terms of doing nearly 2,000 to 3,000 more damage than Fitz with 14% better railgun accuracy, but Fitz still had at least 1 more final blow than Shy. So it's just a case of Hangzhou Spark getting the damage done, but struggling to actually get the kills.
Yeah, I mean, big moves there from Architect. Still looking incredibly well-versed on the Genji, but unfortunately, it's just not enough for them to be able to finish the map and try to make an OT play to force out that draw. Instead, we have the Dynasty now leading 2-0 as we get ready to take our first look at APAC at Junkertown to see whether or not that could be the staging ground for the Hangzhou Spark. You'll need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to walk away victorious and overtake the Dynasty at the top of the standings. We'll see if they can make it happen when we come back, so don't go anywhere. And we are back. A 2-0 lead now set up for the side of the Dynasty, who are looking to close this out with a 3-0, much like the Dragons did before them versus the Charge. But has been close. We started off a hell of a lot closer, I feel, than we saw on Midtown. Nearly got the full hold. Hangzhou Spark dug deep enough to be able to fight back, make it through to point B, but unfortunately could not finish the map and take us to overtime. Now Junkertown is standing in their way. They need to get a win here to try to start a reverse sweep.
I have a fun fact to update the audience with here. We were talking about how good Prophet was on this brig. Was he going to do anything incredible here? And said after the first map that, like, yeah, seems fine. Didn't really make any huge mistakes. Didn't see him, do anything egregious. But maybe hard for Brig to show any sort of pop-up potential here. We go to Midtown, wait till the end. I pass over the stats. We come into what's about to be Junkertown now, and I'm looking over at Seoul Dynasty's last map statistically. Stalker and Smurf both equally led final blows at 12 apiece, which is not crazy. I think, Stalker getting a lot done there is pretty high up. Smurf started to really pop off on the Jungle Queen as well. But then after that, after first equal combined 12, the next highest final blows is Prophet's Brig on 11, only one behind Smurf and Stalker. What on earth is going on? How has Prophet done that? He's playing DPS on Brig.
The man is the GOAT. He's the GOAT for a reason. And we have seen in the past, you think back to the GOATS era DPS players who had to, play Brigitte back in that era, be incredibly strong and put up incredible figures, such as Haksal, as I already mentioned him, wanting to see, wishing that we could see him in this modern era playing the Genji once more. But, sometimes it can just kind of fit the groove for a DPS player, and Prophet
maybe
is showing
a Haksal Brig instead. Again, to reiterate,
don't put that curse. Yeah.
He won a Rookie of the Year on Brig. What are you talking about? Anyway, to reiterate, Stalker and Smurf on 12 final blows equal, and then after that it's Prophet on 11. To reiterate, and then Fitz on 8, Vindame on 4. If you were curious, but it's wild that Prophet's somehow keeping up with the Genji and the Junker Queen on final blows as a Brig. So one of the most flexible players in the league has now expanded his hero pool into supports after playing Zarya and GOATS DPS the rest of his career. Now adding a Brig there as well to see if he can finish things off with maybe a 3-0 on Junkertown. And it will finally be the Fitz Ash coming on through. And I did say that this was probably going to be the map where Fitz might look to change off the Sojin, and indeed here we are.
Final swap up. Architect getting spotted there on that right side flank. Dynamite not going to be able to get the follow-up shot. So yeah, pushing him back. So Dynamite damage not going to found. Gets the dink though as Irony drops his shield for just a fraction of a second. Nice little punish, but there's no follow-up to be found. And in fact, it's going to be Fitz who dies first. Shy finally getting him in his sights with a nice little rail headshot.
An opening space being taken by Seoul Dynasty. We already have the payload in the kill box. This little choke before it goes into the open. Very important for Spark to hold this position. Once payload is in the wild in the open, it's a little bit more difficult. Keeping a lid onto Fitz is going to be important here as well. Bob can be a pretty big difference maker in these open spaces.
Swinging around from the coast side though. Stalker cutting through. Does find Super Rich. And Bernard just no one there. Not enough healing throughput from Irony to be able to try to keep him alive, so they end up picking him apart. Follow up. Just trying to finish off that break. Just managed to stay alive for a little bit longer than you might have anticipated. For now, the cart actually gets unoccupied.
Well, that's because you have Architect going towards Seoul Dynasty spawn. So Seoul Dynasty, they get caught in a weird space where they want to clean up Architect, but they also want to kill Irony, but they don't get either, which allows Hangzhou Spark to regroup for a full 5-man contest. That's huge for Spark.
There's a drop down. Shy of 3 meters now left to go. Architect popping the deflect. HP bar is falling low. Bernard is going to get taken down. The Jagged Blade from Smurf able to find him in the end. Irony now falling. The rally rolling there from Prophet, just helping to make sure that they win out the fight cleanly. Stalker cutting his way through 3 with these dashes. Spots out where Architect is, wants to get him, but in the end won't pursue that deep. So now 4:20 in the time bank here for the side of the Dynasty as they push forward into the next phase.
Yeah, I don't think there was any sort of error made on the Seoul Dynasty side of putting Stalker on the Genji today. This has definitely been paying off for Seoul Dynasty in a big way. He's been phenomenal on this Genji so far. And pushing through the street space now of Junkertown where it's Fitz the sole pusher, everyone else taking high ground, and Hangzhou Spark waiting for an opportunity to pull some ultimates out.
And not just poking and prodding as the card inches forwards, rounding the last corner now. Halfway to the next checkpoint here. It's the ults. Very much getting built up. 1v4 ready to go here.
Oh, they won't
It's gonna
shine.
be blade pulled first from Stalker, yeah. Sound barrier instantly dropped by Super Rich. Stalker just gonna rotate around the back, ends up being a bit of an air blade, so he can't really find a target. Just get the sound barrier out of him, so it's not necessarily worthless. Bob sent forward by Fitz, just looking to keep everybody's zone back, offer up some additional chip damage. But now, sound barrier comes out from Vinham, and Shy he pops the overclock, but instantly Stalker is there for the punish. Gets on top of him, shuts down the ult, and the cart is still moving. Dragon Blade not going to get the hit, not going to get the pull that they were looking for, but the axe will certainly finish the job here for Smurf, just charging down onto Bernard. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and chip away at Super Rich, giving him a little bit of a stagger. 4.5 minutes now once more for the side of the Dynasty, who are looking relentless.
Relentless, and they're specifically also just being so relentless on Shy. Like 2 pings specifically on Shy there as well that we saw coming through. Stalker has spent his entire blade trying to hunt down Shy, and then after the blade is gone, still the prime target that they gotta get down is always Shy, and they do. They successfully clean up the overclock, like you sort of mentioned. Irony also loses rally, and the payload's free pushing the whole time. It currently is still free pushing. Spark need to put their foot down.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Stalker is certainly living up to the name right now. He is just consistently on the prowl, finding his targets. There's going to be the rampage from Bernard, however, manages to find 4. Clean up there, instantly on to Prophet. Smurf will also get taken down. So off the back of the Jungle Queen ult, they will be able to find some stability and halt this card. We saw how long, how much time they're able to buy for themselves on that defense on Midtown. If they can do that once more here on Junkertown, drain away about 3 minutes or so, if not more, get the hold, and they'll be in a decent spot.
My bigger issue is how far up the payload already is. The fact that it took a long time for Spark to actually get that fight underway. Never mind that the payload's already started moving backwards, but it was already around that corner quite comfortably. Not quite around the final corner yet, but it was nearing that stretch, so it's a lot of free push from Seoul that was uncontested. Spark, that's lost meterage that they have to contend with, even if they can successfully defend Seoul.
Allowed access back to the cart here, relatively for free. Just kind of poking back and forth. Oh man! Stalker just dives onto Super Rich as he tries to dive onto the cart. Charge forward with a rampage. Not going to find too much, but it's enough to get Shy taken out of the fight. Now, rotating back down through the underpass. It's the opposite direction that the Hangzhou Spark members would love to be working their way towards. They end up falling. Architect with a parting gift on the Prophet, but the cart now moving forward, and not many people are going to be able to touch Super Rich. If he can even get there in time, he's going to have to drop this beat. 24 meters left to go. The blade pulled from Stalker, jumps into the back, and yep, they get sucked off. Okay, they just exit.
I don't know.
They're trying to peel. They can't.
Yeah,
moving on.
It's hard to know. Hard to know what happened in that last fight, given we look at Stalker characteristically hunting down Shy as he's done for 3 maps now, and he's somewhere in the middle of that, Hangzhou members ended up not being on the payload, and that was that. So.
Yeah.
Consider this, by the way. We only had 3 fights on C. Where do we have them? We had 1 very delayed fight after an immense amount of free push from Seoul. And then we had a secondary fight where Seoul come in after losing payload possession, and then they pushed again. So realistically, Seoul had 2 drives on C. The first drive made it past the first corner. Second drive, they pushed it to the end, and then Hangzhou Spark come in for the final fight to touch payload. So, considering that Seoul Dynasty got this done in 2 drives, that's kind of ridiculous. And that's what I'm saying is, Spark gave them way too much free push. There's no way that Seoul can win all of C on 2 drives alone.
Yeah. A bit of a, I would call it a catch-22 at the very end there. Because I think what happened, since we don't have a replay, I would assume that the blade gets pulled from Stalker. He's diving into the back. Shy calls for some assistance. Irony and Super Rich both go try to peel so they can try to keep some distance. Push the Genji away with a shield bash and the right clicks, and from there the card is unoccupied and it all comes tumbling down. So.
At this rate, one of Super Rich or Irony basically just needs to sit and babysit Shy. Just sit next to him, babysit him, because Stalker is not giving this up. Stalker is spending the whole game hunting down 1 player.
Like one of those weird parents that puts their children on leashes.
Yeah, you gotta be a helicopter parent for Shy today, because there are bad men out there who are trying to do bad things to Shy.
They are. And his name is Stalker. His name is Stalker. And he just takes his head off. Like, okay. The protect the Shy President mission is not going well.
Well, the Secret Service failed their jobs today.
Oh boy. Well, Stalker continuing to play off. Architect does get a nice little punish, and okay, the fight's gonna get turned. A little bit of time bought here off the rip, but yeah, a nice deflect there to just knock one back into the head of Fitz. A minute taken away with the forward hold, but now Hangzhou Spark as well are looking to extend forward. Poking and prodding away at the Dynasty as they look to recollect.
They might have lost Shy, but they respond with the full force of return fire that they can, which comes through from the Architect Genji. So they will have full payload control here, which is nice. They're about to exit the choke, which is required. With Burnout backing out, though, no, they're not going to be able to exit. Soul take control.
Yeah, they just pull away. I think they know. Just let the Dynasty come to us and then try to win that fight in a more defensive position rather than trying to play forward. But right now, it's not working out. Prophet and Irony going to be traded out, but they lose the front line. That's going to be the commanding shout taken away from them. Wait for the rejoin. Stalker taking quite a bit of damage.
Mega's gone.
Some healing.
Mega.
Smurf is just going to axe Architect down.
That's some well-earned reprieve for Seoul Dynasty as well, because otherwise that was getting tricky. Stalker being on low HP, can't pull Blade. Seoul Dynasty very much struggling to, they desperately try to keep him up. So had Architect not died there and Architect and the rest of 100 Sparks start pulling ultimates, Seoul Dynasty could have been in trouble, but back to a full neutral. Dynasty working on those ultimates now. A lot of time being burned off with Spark. You have to really get a clean fight when that will cap this map, cap this point at least.
Okay, Blade out. Stalker finding Irony off the rip. Looks for a little bit more. Gets a second, gets a third. How much deeper does he want to chase? He's trying to identify exactly where Super Rich is at. The whip shot from Prophet actually gives him a little bit of a speed boost to go ahead and rotate out of there. So he does keep his life intact, but it's a minute and 20 seconds now remaining for the side of the Spark. Ults aplenty, but isn't going to be enough to break through this defensive positioning because Dynasty still have ults to match.
It's just time is such a big factor now. Even when and if Spark break this, how many ultimates will it cost? And by the way, Soul can respond. There's about 9 ultimates online, soon to be, soon to be 9 ultimates. 8 going to 9, and I think most of them will get used.
Rally coming in, whip shot to knock him away. Shy taken down, however, Fitz with a nice headshot. Gets that punish nice and early in the fight. The Blade from Architect not going to be able to do anything. They just zone him back perfectly. That's a lot exhausted here. Now Architect taken down to the back end of the fight. 40 seconds remaining. It continues to just snowball out of control for them.
And now we're on to 30 seconds roughly. Definitely going to be final fight here. The only silver lining for Hangzhou is that Seoul did burn more ults. But whatever is remaining for Spark is going to have to be pulled here, and that's even considering the fact that Smurf might just pull through with a big rampage. If Smurf gets a big rampage, Spark could be in trouble, despite the sound barrier still being there though, which can definitely help out. Smurf in trouble.
Overclock first to lead. A little bit. Rampage through the side room. Everybody collected up. And the cleanup will be there. So it's seeming like once more, just like Midtown before it, Hangzhou Spark will be able to push through to get the cap on it at the very last seconds.
I mean, that's just
no
great play by
favors for them as far
Burnout.
as building up a time bank.
It can even Seoul Dynasty come in. Smurf, I think he swapped off to a Wrecking Ball for like a split second there, but no, it looked like they are potentially giving this one. No, they're not. Stalker's got it. They're going to go for it. Final retake.
No, they're not. Yep, they're dropping down. Stalker, the first one to touch now. The mission is just stay on the card for both of these teams. Irony under an immense amount of pressure. Stalker able to finish him off now. Super Rich going to be the prime target here for them. If they can get rid of both supports or just take out Bernard. It seems like Van was able to do it. Shy fighting back. He and Architect getting one apiece, but Stalker finds him. And it looks like the last second contest is going to come through for the side of the Dynasty. They play it out perfectly to get the full hold on Junkertown and go ahead and lock in a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, and Stalker, phenomenal. I think that's it. I think Stalker really proved his mettle today on the Genji. He was the top player in the lobby again. 3 maps in a row, he was top in the lobby. So it's undeniable to me that Stalker was the single best player of all 10 players today in this particular matchup, 3-0. Just phenomenal stuff coming on through. Not even just the raw kills and the raw stats, but consider that the one big boon for the side of Hangzhou Spark, especially off the back of that first map, was Shy Sojin, which Stalker had basically put the lid on, locked it up, threw away the key, and farmed Shy and just dived on top of him as much as possible. And Spark just failed to protect Shy. They failed to be able to prevent Stalker from just running up to Shy, killing him fight after fight after fight after fight. There's no stat line for this, but I'd be willing to bet that well more than 50% of Shy's deaths was just the Stalker alone.
I mean, we have to spool back through the footage to prove it, but it certainly seems correct from what you're saying. And I mean, we're picking him up so much already. Let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Our player of the match, of course, is going to be Stalker. We weren't sure, what the lineup was going to look like from the side of the Dynasty. We were anticipating maybe Prophet Stalker to come through with, Prophet playing the Genji, but no, not to be. Stalker, he once more comes out playing something a bit new for us, and he absolutely impresses from the outset with that victory on Ruins, being able to clean up 4 kills the whole way across this series, just looking so damn consistent. So very well deserved from him.
And again, it's not even that just he is statistically the best player in the lobby today. He got the most kills, most damage, most of everything that matters and is good. But he also, despite enabling his own team and his own win conditions, removes the win conditions for Spark. I mean, you have to remember on this map, he deleted the Shy overclock as well when he pulled that through.
Yeah.
It's about removing all the tools and all the different pathways for Spark to succeed while enabling your own team to succeed, and Stalker just did all of that and more today. And I think there will be a lot of people that are probably surprised that Stalker played the Genji over Prophet, that Stalker is even playing Genji at all, because maybe they're thinking that Stalker is like the Sojin guy, and I kind of got baited into that as well. But considering that Stalker's history on Genji had mostly Genji and a lot of Genji in it, this is a return to form for Stalker, playing something that has been a signature hero for him in the past.
I mean, look at it. 40 final blows out of 72 eliminations, so just incredible from him. Do the figures look as flashy as Who Are You? No, but I think for a debut, this is still such an impeccable performance from Stalker. Played this to a T, and I mean, once more, it's always an exciting matchup between those two teams, every time we get the Dynasty clashing against the Dragons. But now I'm even more excited because if Stalker's going to be playing like this, Who Are You is still in just perfect form on his own Genji. That is going to be a clash for the ages. So I can't wait for that one to happen down the line, because it's, of course, going to be a must-watch series, as it always is.
Yeah, and I wouldn't feel too bad for the Spark here either if you're kind of upset that Spark got wiped out 0-3 here. Just remember that they didn't have Alpha Yi. Given that, I think Architect did play well, but he is typically a substitute player here. He's not as well integrated into the core lineup, especially with new members here. So it is a bit of a rough showing for the Spark. I would suspect that with Alpha Yi back in the lineup to be the pilot of that Genji moving forward, that Hangzhou Spark have a decent amount of bounce back still left to play through. So this isn't quite DEFCON alert levels yet for Spark. I think it's a bit of a shame, but they have more to play through, more to show.
Oh, for sure. And I'm glad that you touched on it, because it was something that I wanted to bring up. I think, fortunately for Architect, this is not one of those matches you walk away from and everybody's just going to be pointing fingers and saying, like, if they had Alpha Yi, that this would have been a victory for the side of the Spark. I think it could have been closer. I think that they are used to playing with him, and the comms maybe are a little bit clearer. Like you said, Architect, we've only seen him twice. It's like this, and then when he was playing Ana before. So having Alpha Yi in there, having that consistency in the roster definitely makes things a bit smoother, but Architect was able to put up significant numbers in his own right. So it's not like he came in here and got completely swept under the rug. He had a great performance in his own right, and it was really just the Spark not being able to keep Shy protected. So we'll see if they're able to just kind of take a step back, rewatch the VOD here from this series, and identify, the key weaknesses there and what they need to do to keep Mr. President safe. But guys, that's going to do it for us here on our first day back. A pretty swift one, as it was only, 2.5 hours since we went live.
6-0.
Very quick series with the double 3-0s, but yeah, a 6-0 day on the whole there, as Dynasty and Dragons pick up some wins. But of course, this is just the start of a fairly long week, as we have 3 days worth of action, and coming up tomorrow, we have 3 matches for you. Myself and Avril will be guiding you through all 3 of those. So we expect to see you all back here, same place, same time. You better be there. Set your alarms, mark your calendars, whatever you got to do. I want to see butts in seats watching this broadcast, because we love you all and we want you to be a part of it. Good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.